A storm has set at War Memorial Stadium. The undefeated UNLV Rebels travel to Laramie, the home of the Wyoming Cowboys. Welcome inside the broadcast booth, Wyatt, Touchet, and Johnnie Graves on the call. Johnnie, it's the first Mountain West Conference matchup between both of these teams, and UNLV looks to go 5-0 for the first time since 1974.
And hitting it off just like that, Wyatt. If you were Dan Mullen and this coaching staff, you could not have wanted to start this season off in any better way. To start the season 4-0, heading into your first game of conference play, coming off of not one but two bye weeks now early on in the season. This is exactly what this UNLV football team has wanted, and it all goes to show that Dan Mullen was ready to go as the leader of this football team, and that starts with his head guy, his head honcho, Anthony Calandria, who has been the quarterback that has led this team to the promised land so far in this football season.
Now, going into this game, it is the second game off a bye week for the UNLV this season. From here on out, it is the 8 games and 9 week schedule, so a lot to expect from the Rebels going here on out. They're well rested, they're ready to go, and one of the guys offensively they're going to look at is Jet Thomas. He currently stands 6th all-time, and he's tied for UNLV's career rushing TDs at 24, and he's 1 away from 5th, right behind Matt Gilchrist.
You're exactly right. And if you look at this UNLV offense and what they need to do to be successful today, like you said, the weather is not going to go their way. It is hailing right now up in Wyoming. But what are they going to have to do? They're going to have to lean on their running back, Jet Thomas, who has been that bell cow for this offense. But also they have to understand it is still a running back by committee approach. But they need to lean on the run today. We had Anthony Calandria in his last game. He did happen to throw 2 interceptions. And a lot of that is out of game script. When you have to go off your game script and you have to unfortunately put yourself and put the football into situations you would not have wanted them to be, that is when mistakes happen. I want to see this UNLV offense be able to use the running game to open up the pass game, and they will continue to be successful, looking to go 5-0 in this football game.
And kickoff is underway here in Laramie. Deep back for the Rebels, Jalen Glover, but the whistle is blown dead. And the Rebel offense will come onto the field first, led by their quarterback, Anthony Calandria.
Anthony Calandria has been absolutely phenomenal for this UNLV offense to start the year. The dude is absolutely balling. Against the University of Miami, he had 29 completions on 43 attempts, 293 yards, 2 touchdowns, but he made the biggest plays when they mattered most. That's what he's been able to do this whole season for this UNLV offense, and offensive coordinator Corey Dennis has all the confidence in him to lead this team.
So 1st and 10 from their own 25, pistol formation, trips right for the Rebels. Thomas in the backfield, little flea flicker, ball loose on the ground, has to dive for it, and the Cowboys recover on the first offensive play. That is Eller with the recovery.
And right there by the Wyoming Cowboys, what an amazing play to be able to see ball, get ball. Right there, if you're UNLV, if you're trying to set the tone, you started it off right. You try to give the ball to Jet Thomas, what we talked about in the intro of this football game. Give it to your running back and allow him to make plays. What do? He tried to run a fake flea flicker, and it goes, and it is fumbled off the hands of Anthony Calandria. If you are starting the Mountain West Conference play, that is not how you want to start your first drive as an offense, and you are now putting your defense in a hole to start this game. Let's see if they can hold this Wyoming offense to 3 to start this football game.
The graduate student from Virginia, Evan Eller, with the recovery, and it goes to show the importance of the element here. Handoff up the middle for the Cowboys. Pickup of about 4 there on the first carry by Samuel Harris.
And ironically enough, it is a small world we live in, why we have 2 Virginia transfers, not only Eller but Anthony Calandria being a part of that play. But again, if you're UNLV in your offense, I understand trying to come out and have a spark to start this football game. But if you're offensive coordinator Corey Dennis, you do not have to put yourself in a situation like that. Start the game off clean. Now you're having this offense be a little bit shaky coming out of the bye week right now.
It's now 2nd and 7 at the Rebels 16. Anderson behind the line, brought down What a play there by the defense. Getting inside the backfield is the sophomore Lucas Conti, who spoke about going into this week that they need to dominate up front, and a good show of that there.
Lucas Conti doing a perfect example of how you set the line of scrimmage. Games in football are won in the trenches. You see that on all levels of football, not only on high school and college, but on the NFL level. You need to have guys in the trenches that are going to fill gaps and stop the run.
Big third down here. Shotgun formation for Anderson. Harris in the backfield. Looks across the middle. Connects. Broken tackle here. And tackled right around the outside far for the Cowboys, and they're going to be stopped short on a 3-and-out here.
That's a great job right there by Andrew Powdrell, understanding that I know where the sticks are. As a defensive back, what do I need to do? I need to rally to the football. Both he and Jaheim Joseph did a great job of utilizing their leverage, understanding the down and distance, and making sure that this Wyoming football team did not get 6 points on the board for that drive.
Chris Durr Jr. with a loss of 2 there. Now Eric Sandvik, the redshirt sophomore from Steamboat Springs, Colorado, from 36 yards out, puts it up and in. And the Cowboys and Laramie for their homecoming game lead early here. You're listening to UNLV football on Rebel Sports Network. You're listening to UNLV football here on Rebel Sports Net. If you're now just tuning in, the Rebels on their first play of their first drive, fumble off a flea flicker, gave the Cowboys an opportunity. They were able to hold their ground, hold them to 3, but absolute a demonstration of the elements that the Rebels are dealing with here in Laramie. They were expecting the elevation, but the weather here has impacted so far early here, Johnny.
100% Wyatt, and I understand we're coming from the entertainment capital of the world, but sometimes when you start a football game, you do need to be a little bit mellow. You do need to be a little bit lame just to allow your quarterback to get settled into this football game. For Corey Dennis to come out right off the rip to try to run a flea flicker, I like to see the aggressiveness, but at that point in the football game, to start the drive, trying to set the tone for what you want to see in conference play, that is not the kind of play that you wanted to have. Right there, that was a mistake. But if you're UNLV in this offense, to understand that you still have around 13 minutes in this football game, or in the first quarter for that matter, to be able to come out, have a good solid drive, set the tone for the rest of the game, they have to be lucky about that. We would just like to see them clean things up, flush that play, and continue to come out here and play UNLV Rebel football. Not playing from behind, not playing in a hole, but playing at their pace and doing what they want to do on the football field.
I mean, what we saw earlier in this season, the first game against Idaho State, down in a hole, against Miami of Ohio, down in a hole, and they're here only down by 3 as of right now, but they knew going into this game they had to prepare to get going early, set the tone. They prepared in this game. Calandria during this week had said, after practices, they were putting on masks to prepare for the elevation, and going into Laramie and the Cowboy State, a lot of snow on the field, white, very white on the field, and so it ended up, not doing well for them so far. I mean, coming from the desert into elemental Wyoming, not the ideal start for you.
No, not at all. And if you're looking at this UNLV football team, there's going to be a lot of things that they're going to have to clean up. It's a little bit of deja vu right now. We've seen them come out a little bit lackluster and a little sluggish after those byes, but they need to make plays and continue to set themselves up for success, not for failure.
And Glover with a good return there, over 20 yards, and this offense will come onto the field for the second time today, and they're going to rely on big players to watch For us, Jaden Thomas, an absolute monster on the ground, and especially in an environmental game like this, you have to run the ball and dominate.
Yes, they have to be able to feed. You want to feed your stars. In a game like this where you know the weather is going against you, you need to give it to a guy that is going to be safe with the football. I don't know if we've seen Thomas fumble the football all year so far until that very last play, and that was between him and Calandria.
Calandria handoff to Thomas up the middle, picking up a good gain there, met and brought down by a number of Cowboys. It'll be second down.
And right there on that last play, you see a perfect example of Jet Thomas and his contact balance. When a defender hits you on the first time, you rarely see Jet Thomas being able to get taken down after that first initial contact. He's always able to churn and get what may be a 1 to 2 yard gain, turn that into 3 or 4 just off of sheer willpower. You love to see that from the running back, and that sets you up for a good 2nd and 6.
Rebels on their own 37, 2nd and 6. Roll out right for Calandria. Fires, far side, connects wide open. O'Meara. Correction, Bradley with the catch, picking up a huge first down for the Rebels. Good find there.
And right there, Jaden on the spot. Not Johnnie on the spot, but Jaden on the spot. Jaden Bradley being able to sit in that zone coverage. You have Anthony Calandria being able to will outside the pocket, use his legs as a last option if all his reads weren't there. But when you're a quarterback and you're able to keep your eyes downfield and have a great relationship with your wide receiver, that is exactly what happened. They pick up a first down for the Rebels.
Bradley 2 weeks ago, 7 catches, 93 yards, and a touchdown. Huge run from Thomas here down the far sideline. Brought down inside Wyoming territory. Big run there. One of many hope to see from the Scarlet and Gray.
And that exactly is what happens when you're able to use not only the run, but also the pass. It opens up what you want to see from your offense. But kudos right there from the UNLV offensive line, being able to give Jet Thomas a ton of space to work with. When he's able to have that clear of a running lane and you get him to the second level, the dude is an explosive play waiting to happen. He did that right there for the Rebels.
Rebels on the Cowboy 13, shotgun, handoff Thomas off the left side. Cuts back in inside the 10 and knocking on the door here to put up 7.
Good hard running, and I love the play calling by Corey Dennis, understanding that you have to settle the troops down and allow them to get something positive. Sometimes it takes getting punched in the mouth a little bit to get that wake-up call, get your offense going. Right now, this UNLV offense has done a great job of using your playmakers to continue to have positive things happen in this football game and setting up another efficient 2nd and 5.
10.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. The Cowboys lead 3-0 here. Calandria, handoff up the middle, but a flag on the play stops it. Kevon Lee in the backfield joining Calandria. And it'll be a false start call there from our referee in charge today, Kenneth Ray.
Right there, you have that offensive line just being a little bit too eager to get out on those crack blocks trying to get to the second level. But again, you love to see UNLV continuing to rotate their running backs. Not only do they have Jet Thomas, but then they also have Jalen Glover and then also Kevon Lee, who have shown that they are going to be worthy for touches in this offense, and you're going to need those guys. Like you said, Wyatt, they have a lot of football left to play for the rest of the season. They need to keep those guys fresh, keep them healthy, and keep everybody engaged.
2nd and 10 for the Rebels at the Cowboy 13, shotgun formation. Calandria, keeper, gets outside, has the angle inside the 10 and hits a man getting out of bounds, and the time will continue to tick.
Right there, Anthony Calandria showing that football is all about angles and leverage. Right there, he's able to get outside of that edge defender, turn the corner, understanding that they have the read option as a part of their game because Anthony Calandria has been so efficient with his legs. That is something we thought we were going to see from Alex Orji, who's going to be gone for the rest of the season. But Calandria has shown he is not just a pocket passer. He is a dual-threat quarterback in this offense.
Big third down here inside the red zone, 3rd and 3 at the Cowboy 6. Shotgun formation, handoff. Lee on the outside, has the angle. He's in. Touchdown, UNLV.
UNLV's offense right there with a complete answer to that Wyoming score. And you see Corey Dennis and his offense believe in Kevon Lee and what he's able to bring, especially when they are in the red zone. He has a similar build to Amarion Hampton, the guy that plays for the Las Vegas Chargers by way of the University of North Carolina. Both of those running backs are able to see if they do not have their official read, they can bounce it to the outside, get to the edge of the defense, and make plays when they matters most. That's exactly what Kevon Lee is able to do for for the UNLV Rebels, and they shown, hey, we get punched in the mouth, we still have to answer back, keep fighting like Rocky. The UNLV Rebels do exactly that to get on the board in this football game.
Hampton for the Los Angeles Chargers is a strong back indeed. Kevon Lee looking stronger here in Laramie, Wyoming. The Rebels lead early, 7-3, 9:18 remaining. You're listening to UNLV football here on Rebel Sports Network. Six plays, 67 yards, in only 3.5 minutes. The Rebels put up 7 early in this ball game. Johnnie, Kevon Lee, great 6-yard run to punch it in and get this Rebel team ahead.
And right there, you love to see this UNLV offense understanding that they have to lean on their stars when you are playing on the road in conference play. What do? You have Jet Thomas being able to have 3 carries for 35 yards and had the big chunk play to get them in scoring position. But then again, on that big third down play, who was right there ready to make a play? Jaden Bradley, being able to make that 24-yard catch and extend the drive for this UNLV offense. But again, I love to see them play their brand of football. When they're not playing rush, when they're not making mistakes, this is a very, very, very hard team to beat when you're looking at the Mountain West and the schedule that they have coming up for the rest of the year.
The Rebels come into this game 4-0, undefeated for the first time since Tony Knapp was the head coach. And taking a look at the first 4 games, Rebels win 38-31 over Idaho State. They win over Sam Houston State the week after, 38-21. They go to the bye week and then go face UCLA. They win 30-23. And then fresh off a bye week going into that game over a thriller in Miami of Ohio, 41-38, and that brings us here to Laramie, a huge snow fest looking like a winter wonderland in beautiful Laramie, Wyoming.
Yeah, no, and if you're this Wyoming offense, you need to be able to, again, do exactly what this UNLV offense was able to do, which was answer to what your defense led up on the defensive end. Right now, you would like to see Caden Anderson, the quarterback, being able to command this offense and make sure that they're in position to make plays, but they're going to have to be able to run through the football. They're going to have to run the football with their running backs.
Cowboys on their own 25. Anderson surveys, checks down to Harris. He picks up the first down a little bit more past the 35 and brought down at the 37.
That was a great use of the running back play action pass right there from Anderson and Harris, both being able to be in sync. And sometimes you just have to take the simple check down. You don't always have to have the splash play on those play action plays. Take what the defense gives you. He does that right there. First down for the Cowboys.
1st and 10 at their own 36. Just under 9 minutes to go here. The Cowboys on their second possession of the day. Motion man here. Handoff Harris. outside far, but brought down behind the line of scrimmage. Good tackle there by Jake Pope Jr.
That was a great job by Jake Pope Jr. Understanding at that safety position, you do have to come down and still chop wood. What does he do? Not only does he still engage with the defense or with the offensive lineman trying to come out and meet him for a block, but he still is able to wrap up and make a big tackle. That was a great job by Andrew Paltrow and Jake Pope from those defensive back positions rallying for a tackle.
A loss of 2 there, 2nd and 12 at their own 34. Anderson, far side, connects. Brought down at the 35. That's Durr. It's going to be 3rd down here for the Cowboys.
Solid catch right there by Chris Durr, but an even better tackle by Ben Muhad, being able to make that sure-handed tackle, make sure that he doesn't get any yards after the catch, setting up a big 3rd and 9 for this UNLV defense. Let's see if they get pressure or if they stay back in zone and allow this Wyoming offense to take what they can get, rally to make a tackle to get off the field.
3rd and 9 for the Cowboys. 7:27 to go here in the first quarter. The Rebels lead 7-3, and a pre-snap penalty looks like against Wyoming.
Right there, you have those Wyoming offensive linemen getting a little bit too antsy, backing themselves up 5 yards. That's not what you want if you're this Wyoming offense, and their head coach is not going to be happy with that play. Knowing against a team like UNLV, coming off of those 4 wins, they are riding high. They have a lot of confidence in this group. And this UNLV defense, granted, the scores might not be able to be a valid representation of what they've been able to do, but they have been very solid so far this year, setting up 3rd and 14.
3rd and 14, the call is on the right tackle. Jake Davies, the sophomore from Yorkville, Illinois, connects there, but they're going to be short. The reception credited to Samuel Harris, and it's going to be 4th down for the Cowboys with 7 minutes to go here in the first.
That's a great job, again, by this UNLV defense, understanding down and distance, rallying to make a tackle. Caden Anderson, unfortunately, had to take what the defense gave him, try to live for another day, make sure you don't have any fumbles, any ill-advised interceptions, and UNLV is going to be able to get this football back to that high-powered offense.
Bart Edmiston for the first punt today. Almost, and it is blocked! The Rebels recover, and he's going to be in for 6. Touchdown, Rebels! What a play there on 4th down by the Scarlet and Gray. Caden McGee recovers the blocked punt and brings it in the end zone, and the Rebels lead by 2 scores.
And right there, sometimes you don't have to have your offense come out into the field to make plays. We've seen in the National Football League how exciting special teams has been a part of everything. And then right here, you have UNLV and the big block coming right there from actually Jaden Bradley coming off the edge at the wide receiver position, showing that he has what it takes to get after the punter, make a big play for this UNLV offense on the road, in Wyoming, in the snow. That is exactly the type of play that you want to balloon this lead to 11 points with 6 minutes still remaining in this first quarter. UNLV has to be riding high after a play like that by one of their offensive leaders on this football team.
14-3, Rebels up big in Laramie, Wyoming. You're here on Rebel Sports Network. All three phases, the Rebels have dominated here at Laramie, Wyoming at War Memorial Stadium. It started off rough, but Anthony Calandria spoke during the week that one of the things and positives that they have about this squad is how they're able to stay even keel through the adversity. They were able to bounce back their second offensive drive, go down, put up 7. The defense was able to bend but not break when they gave up that turnover for 3. And then now this special teams block punt by Mumu bin Wahad and recovered by McGee for 6.
Right there, like you said, Wyatt, this whole UNLV team is bought into winning football. And that doesn't just start on the offensive and defensive end. It also matters with special teams. Like Sketch has once said, special teams, special players. You need to be able to have those guys engaged in this football team because they are going to be able to have the capabilities of making plays when it matters most. Right there, we had the UNLV special teams unit be able to make a big play and allow this UNLV defense to play with some cushion. Now they can be more aggressive in what they want to do, play calling wise with Paul Gunther.
That's the first block punt for a TD allowed by the Cowboys since October 30th of 2015 against Utah State. And so now the Cowboys will come back onto the field. 1st and 10, down 14-3 with 6:29 to go at their own 25. Pistol formation. Anderson motions his back. Play action, fires outside, picks up the first down, and caught there by Sargent.
That's a great job right there between Anderson and Sargent, understanding that if UNLV's defense is going to play off-man coverage, what are we going to do? We're going to take what the defense gives us, eat up those easy little chunk yards, and take what we can. That's a good first down by Kenny Anderson. And what you want to see from their offensive coordinator in this Wyoming offense, you need them to play within themselves, not press too much, play within the offense.
Sargent with a 12-yard gain. The ball's at their own 37. Play action. Anderson rolls out left. A little too far forward. Intended for Sargent. Bin Wahad in the area for coverage. It is 2nd down.
It's a great job right there by bin Wahad, kind of playing in that same role that Amaris Brown plays in. Right now, UNLV is playing a lot of dime defense when it's 1st and 2nd down. That's when you're going to have more DBs on the field than you would have linebackers and edge rushers. And that is specifically to nullify the offense and what they're trying to do through the air. Let's see what they can set up now on 2nd and 10.
At their own 37, pistol formation. Teron Kelman is the back. 8 on the play clock. Handoff. Kelman up the middle for a good gain there, making it now 3rd and manageable for the Cowboys on a crucial 3rd down play.
Good little play call just to get as many yards as they can right there in that situation. Understanding that, yes, they did have an incomplete pass on 2nd down, but sometimes you need to just simply go back to that running game, try to establish the line of scrimmage, and open up this offense and make the defense read their keys a little bit differently and get them some different looks, setting up a 3rd and 5.
5.5 minutes to go on a crucial 3rd and 5 here. Intercepted in the air. Ball was tipped up. And the man that picked the ball off was defensive lineman, big number 92, Jalen Lee. And the refs are conversing amongst themselves. We're waiting for the official ruling. But Lee has the ball in his hands, awaiting the call here. Incomplete pass, and it's going to be 4th down. A huge sigh of relief for Cowboy fans. But, man, what great pressure up front by the Rebels.
And, again, being able to establish the line of the line of scrimmage is what is going to be crucial for this UNLV defense. And right there, what a great effort by Jalen Lee. Unfortunately, he's not able to come up with that interception, but you're able to see the big boy lay out and try to make a play, try to get that football back to this offense. But again, kudos goes to this UNLV defense coming ready to play in the elements. When you're a defensive back, defensive lineman, and you're playing in the snow, a lot of your bearings and leverage that you have with your football cleats are not going to be there. You're basically skating on the football field. But for them to be able to come out, have so much energy, come with aggression to be able to get after the quarterback, it was a great job by UNLV. And this defense is going to be able to get the offense the football back and potentially score more points and extend this lead in the first quarter of the game.
Partner, this play is under review. He did not catch the ball. It did hit the ground. But what they are looking at, did Anderson have control throwing that ball? It looked loose as he was winding his arm back. But an interesting play, nonetheless, in an athletic play there by 6'3", 300-pound Jalen Lee, the transfer from LSU, the senior. Partner, what are you seeing on this replay?
Right here on this replay, I'm seeing, again, like you said before, Wyatt, the elements are definitely in play in this game. And you see Anderson, he completely loses the ball as he's going with his throwing motion. And to me, it didn't look like he was able to truly extend out with the football. It looks like that play was a fumble, and UNLV should have the football back with great field position. But it will be up to the refs and the booths upstairs to see if they will change this call and overturn it and give UNLV the football back in great field position for Anthony Calandria and Corey Dennis with this offense.
The call on the field is an incomplete pass by Wyoming. But what we are seeing here from the replay is Anderson winding back. The ball is slipping through as he goes backwards. This is not no tuck rule Tom Brady deal.
Nope.
The ball is already loose. And we will go down to the field here momentarily to hear the call. And the call is overturned. The ball was a fumble. Anderson did not have possession, and so the Scarlet and Gray will take over.
And that is what happens when you are playing in the snow in the first game of conference play for both of these teams. You see this UNLV defense being able to set themselves up to have a long third down. They made Anderson have to force the ball down the field. And because of that, you have mistakes happen in this football game. When you're playing in the snow, you're not playing with any gloves on. It's going to be hard to have full control of that football, especially if you're trying to push the ball downfield and make things happen with your arm. Right there, the ball slipped away from Anderson, and UNLV has a great opportunity to score in field position right now.
Ball at the Wyoming 35-yard line. Calandria rolls out left, looking down the field, fires, connects at the 25. Jaden Bradley with the catch there.
Jaden Bradley, again, showing how effective he is when he is playing out of the slot. Right here, you have him running the simple slot over. He's supposed to get to a depth of about 8 to 9, 10 yards and be able to get open for his quarterback. What does he do? He runs that exact route. Anthony Calandria is able to get the ball to him and get the first down.
Going into this game, the UNLV defense was tied for the most turnovers gained with 10, and they had their 11th one there by the hand of Caden Anderson and the fumble. And now the Rebels are on the offensive side, 1st and 10 at the Cowboy 25. 5 on the play clock. Handoff Glover, outside at a gain of 2.
Right there, you have UNLV in that pistol formation, being able to get the ball to the outside for Jalen Glover. He's a better runner on the outside when you're able to use him and put him in space rather than have him run in between the tackles. And that was a great job by Glover, just taking what the defense can give him, being able to pick up 2 hard yards on that play, setting up a 2nd and 8 for this UNLV offense.
About 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. The Rebels lead 14-3 outside of the red zone here. Calandria with some trickery. That's Earl on the other side from the jet sweep motion, and a good gain there by the Rebels.
That's another example of Corey Dennis and what he can do with the rotating door of weapons in this offense. What do you think? No, we're going to try to go and do a simple another pistol formation handoff to Glover. Nope, we're going to sloop it right underneath to JoJo Earl, and he's going to be able to come from that slot position almost on like basically a jet sweep, but a reverse to the other side. He's able to pick up a good 6-7 yards and now setting up a 3rd and 1 for this UNLV offense.
You like how smooth he was with a little J. Will action there, just under the elbow.
White chocolate, baby. White chocolate.
3rd and 1. Calandria across the middle. Hit it. And incomplete there. And that's going to be 4th down. His intended receiver was hit, but he was playing for the ball. Good defensive pass break up there by number 12 for Wyoming.
That was a great job right there by Hearns, but air to the referee being able to try to give that the defensive back the benefit of the doubt. It looked like he got there a little bit too early. UNLV being aggressive here on 4th and 1.
They're 3 of 4 on 4th down conversions this season. 3:16 remaining in the first quarter. Handoff up the middle, chugging the legs. It's going to be a close one, and it depends how the referees spot it here. Lee with a strong run. And they signal it's 1st down UNLV.
And this is a perfect example of why colleges spend so much money on the weight room. Sometimes you have to simply put your head down, understand that I'm 210 pounds, and I'm going to get this first down when my team needs it most. That's exactly what Kevon Lee is able to do, being a big back, using that big frame, and get that first down for this UNLV offense.
Ball's on the Wyoming 14-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Rebels. Calandria, keeper, stiff arms a man, but loses yardage there. A somewhat highlight of a play, but unable to pick up the yard of gain.
If you look at Anthony Calandria, he has so much Jackson Dart in his game, so much aggressiveness. The dude is not afraid of contact at all. What does he do? I'm not going to allow you to get me down to the football ground. I don't want to touch the snow. I'm going to put your head into the ground. But great job by the University of Wyoming being able to still read their keys, stop them right there on that first down, and have it be negative yardage for this UNLV offense, setting up a 2nd and 14. That's what this defense needs to do, bend but not break.
Under 2 minutes to go in the first quarter, the Rebels lead 14-3 inside Wyoming territory. 2nd and 14, pressure around him, fires across the middle of the gums, but incomplete. 3rd down.
UNLV trying to use a little bit of that play action pass, trying to hit Varkey's gums man-to-man, manned up with the linebacker right there in coverage. And it was just great coverage right there by the linebacker, being able to sit in his back pocket, use his hands, not get to the ball too early, and do exactly what you need to do as a linebacker, stay in phase, not have a pass interference. Great job right there by Eller, setting up a big 3rd and 14 for this Wyoming defense.
UNLV has converted 1 3rd down already. Minute 47 to go. 3rd and 14. Fires near side. Connects. Caught inside the 5 at the 1. What a play there by Omire. And he was wanting the touchdown, but the refs, the sideline judge, marked him short.
Again, UNLV showing the embodiment of riches that they have on this football team. When you have a big body X receiver like Troy Omire, you simply have to give him a chance. And what does he do? He's able to get 1 foot down, get a big first down for this UNLV offense, setting them up at the 1-yard line. This UNLV offense have cut after that fumble to start this game, has shown that they have the rudder behind them and they are on fire. That was a beautiful pitch and catch between wide receiver and quarterback on that play.
And a tremendous effort by Omire to get his right foot in and not step out of bounds and maintain body control, go through the catching process, protect the ball, and secure it to get the Rebels at the 1.
A little bit of a basketball reference, Wyatt. When you're looking back a couple years ago, Kevin Durant, oh no.
The call is actually overturned. The Rebels will be forced to kick a 36-yarder here. And as time almost expires on the play clock, the refs blow it dead here. But continue with your basketball reference before that change of play, because this play is under review.
Right. Like I was saying, if you're looking at Troy Omire, the dude is about 6'4", right? So if you're thinking about his cleat, he has to have at least a size 13 cleat. But for him to be able to make that play, be able to get 1 foot down and still try to make a big play for this UNLV football team, make a great concentration catch on the sideline, the snow might be in the way for the referees when it comes to this play. But you still have to shout out Troy Omire being able to make a big play. It reminds me a couple years ago when Kevin Durant was playing on the Nets going against the Milwaukee Bucks, made a big quote-unquote 3, but they counted it as a 2. They would have gone up in that series, ended up losing the series. But when you have those big feet, sometimes they can work against you. Right here, they called the call on the field. It was an incomplete pass, but still a great effort by Troy Omire and Anthony Calandria, showing the connection on the back shoulder right there.
So the call on the field is an incomplete pass because his foot is out of bounds. They were ready to kick the field goal, and then they went to review. Hence the confusion for our broadcast booth. And the call on the field is upheld. It will be 4th down for the Rebels.
Can't have them all.
Cannot have them all. So Ramon Viella, the sophomore from Upland, California, who went 2 of 2 with a long of 27 against Miami of Ohio, will kick a 36-yarder here in snowy Wyoming.
And if you are this Wyoming defense, you have to love what you've seen from your defense, being able to hold on strong, hold this UNLV offense to 4th down, and potentially get off the field only suffering 3 points here in this game.
Snap, Hold is good. Kick is up, and it's through. The Rebels lead 17-3 here in the first quarter with 1:36 remaining. You're listening to UNLV football here on Rebel Sports Network. Since the Rebels went down 3-0 from a fumble from Anthony Calandria, they have scored 17 unanswered points, and they just put 3 on the board for a 36-yard field goal by the leg of Ramon Villela. And this defense, all 3 phases, honestly, have looked tremendous so far.
This UNLV team, to start this football game, looked like they were trying to give Wyoming a homecoming gift to start this game with that fumble. Unfortunately, though, it looks like UNLV's offense, defense, and special teams all woke up in this football game, and they have been able to execute at a very high level. Outside of not being able to pick up that fourth down conversion on which was third down conversion, which was a great play between Troy O'Meara and Anthony Calandria, they were still able to get 3 points and make sure that this UNLV defense was very appreciated for the efforts they were able to have getting that fumble on the last play. Let's see what they can continue to do here with a 14-point lead.
And the return there for Wyoming and a flag on the play just past the 20-yard line. This Rebel defense has been performing really well throughout this entire season, holding Wyoming to -1 rushing yard. That's going to be one key in this game for both sides to be able to establish in order to really fight for that yard to gain in a snowy environment like this.
And like it was said before, Wyatt, we touched a little bit on game script. Game script is some of the things that kind of mess up some of the guys when you're looking at fantasy football, when you have a running back that you need to get you 20 points, but his team is down by 13, 14, 20 points. They're not going to run the football because now you're playing from behind. You need to be able to have chunk yards and pass the football. If Wyoming wants to be able to be successful in this football game, they are going to have to build some type of continuity when it comes to running the football. If they don't do that and allow this UNLV defense to play at their terms, at their will, a defense that has forced how many turnovers now, Wyatt? 11 turnovers on this season so far within 5 weeks now, they are going to set themselves up for failure, and it's not going to be the game that Wyoming wants to play.
A 22-yard return by Dion DeBlanc is taken back by a 10-yard penalty from Rutherford. And so now they will start inside their own 20. And the refs blow this play dead before it even gets going here. Curious to see if there was a timeout. Yes, it was. It was the Cowboys. But taking a look at this defense for the Rebels so far, have only allowed 42 total yards and have been doing a great job so far, bending but not breaking, especially in that first drive that the Cowboys had with an opportunity to punch it in for 6, but we're only able to put up 3.
And a lot of the plays have been from the other guys. We haven't really had to say Marcel McDuffie or Amaris Brown, some of the stars that are on this defense. We've been having to hear from the other guys in Jake Pope and Mumu Bin Wahad and a lot of the guys that are on the outskirts of this defense.
And so now this defense comes out, holding the Cowboys on their own 10. Handoff around to DeBlanc. Picks up the first down and more. Brought down by Bin Wahad, but not after DeBlanc picks up the first down for a gain of 12.
That was a great play call right there by their offensive coordinator. Being able to switch up the looks that this UNLV defense is seeing and get their guy out into space. Offensive coordinator Jay Johnson will want to continue to be efficient like that on first down if they want to have success in this football game.
1 minute to go here in the first quarter. The Rebels lead 17-3. Blitz off the side, forcing Anderson pressure as he rolls out, throws towards the near sideline. Did Sargent catch that? We will wait the signal here, but what a good play, athletic play by Anderson.
That's a great job by Anderson being able to roll outside the pocket and try to make a play for his wide receiver. Try to at least give him a chance. But on the defensive end, you have Mumu Bin Wahad playing that nickelback position, being able to almost get to the quarterback right there. But Caden Anderson was able to use his legs, extend the play. That's what you love to see from the quarterback.
Sargent unable to come down with the catch. It is now 2nd and 10 from their own 22. Anderson quickly outside, connects there for a gain of about 5. And the line judge here marking it right after the 25-yard line. Huge third down here for the Cowboys. Was less than 40 seconds to go in the first quarter. Good catch there by Holman.
Great pitch and catch right there between Caden and Jackson Holman on that play right there. Understanding that, again, if UNLV is going to play off coverage, I'm going to take the simple 5-yard speed cut out, and I'm going to be able to take what the defense gives me.
0-3 on third down so far in this game. 3rd and 5. Keeper for Anderson picks up the first down and slides just before the 40. Good run there to convert.
That's a great play call right there by Jay Johnson, understanding that, hey, it is 3rd and 5. We understand that the defense is going to load the box a little bit. They're going to have more guys there to try to hone in on the run. But what am I going to do? I'm going to use the simple quarterback read option. And Caden Anderson showing for the second time so far on this drive, he is going to be efficient with his legs and use them when he needs them. That's going to send us into the first quarter, or second quarter, I'm sorry.
And with that run, that will take us to the end of the first. 15 down, 45 to go. The Rebels lead 17-3. You're listening to UNLV football here on Rebel Sports Network. The Rebels are on the road for the first time in Laramie, Wyoming since 2019. Their last meeting against the Cowboys was Friday, November 10th, 2023, and they won that one at home 34-14. And the Rebels lead here early 17-3. The Cowboys have the ball here first and 10 at their own 35, partner. This run game is going to be important for both sides of the ball. Under center, Anderson, handoff up the middle, and a good chunk gain there by Samuel Harris.
It's another great play call by Jay Johnson. And like you said, Wyatt, we have to highlight the run game in this football game. UNLV so far has been able to have it.
Sorry to interrupt you here, partner. Quick throw and a big first down there by this Cowboy offense. This time to Holman, getting this play going and moving forward inside UNLV territory.
And I love that. I love that by Wyoming, being able to play a little bit of that hurry-up offense and keep this UNLV defense on their toes. Right there, they're able to skip it out to Jackson Holman, who was able to basically use that wide receiver screen to his advantage. And those plays can be an extension of the run game. That's what you want to see. You want to see quick hitters. You want to see them moving the ball downfield quickly.
Now Anderson under center here at the UNLV 46. Play action, looking, pressure up front. Throws far sideline. Intended there for Eric Richardson. Does he complete it? No.
It's a great job right there by Egbase, being able to come and put pressure on the quarterback at that defensive end position. And still, great job by Trey Fulton, being able to stay in phase even when the quarterback is getting outside the pocket. As a defensive back, when you're having a guard for 4 or 5, 6, 7 seconds, it's a lot on a defensive back to be able to stay in coverage. It's a lot. It's a lot of time. But he was able to stay in his hip pocket, force the incompletion.
7 of 10 on the day for Anderson. 2nd and 10 for the Cowboys. Motion here, quick throw. And picks up a good chunk there for the Cowboys. It's going to be 3rd down here.
Nice use again of the wide receiver screen game, being able to try to get Chris Durr Jr., their #1 receiver on this football team. He's going to be a guy that UNLV is going to have to watch today because he is a premier playmaker for this Wyoming offense. But great rally by Marcel McDuffie and the UNLV defensive line, being able to read their keys, know where the ball was going, and make a great sure tackle.
Spread offense here for the Cowboys at the Rebel 43, 3rd and 7. 1 of 4 on 3rd down today. Tackled and caught at the 40 is Durr, and the clock will continue to run. Good tackle there by Ben Wahad to stay with his man and make the play.
And it's been notable. It hasn't been Amars Brown out there today. It's been Mumu Ben Wahad making a lot of the plays in that nickelback position that we would have seen from Amars Brown. But right there, that was a big, sure tackle. And let's see what Wyoming is going to do here on 4th and 3, knowing that they're going to have to score points to stay on target with this UNLV offense.
They've converted 4 of 6 on 4th down this season. And it seems as if that 3rd down was to set up a more manageable 4th. 7 on the play clock, bunch formation on the right, and a timeout by the Rebels, their first one of the 2nd quarter. So we're going to step aside for 30 seconds here. Stick with us here on Rebel Sports Net. Big 4th down here for the Cowboys on homecoming night in Laramie. They are down 17-3, partner. 4th and 3 inside UNLV territory. What's kind of the mindset that Jay Johnson's going into this 4th down call?
Right here, this is the desperation call. They understand that if they want to win this football game, put themselves in the best position to win, they have to convert this big 4th down and get points on the board. They don't want to settle for 3 here. They want to get touchdowns. Let's see what they have dialed up on this play.
Play action, bunch right. Anderson looking across the middle. Fires. Almost intercepted by Jaheim Joseph. And it's going to be turnover on downs. Great defensive stop by this stout Scarlet and Gray defense.
And this goes back to what had happened before this play even started. There was a key timeout right there by, I'm so sorry.
Paul Gunther.
Yes. Paul Gunther and this UNLV defense, they were able to understand we know the down and distance. We don't want to put our defense in a situation where they're going to get too antsy and we're going to get a free first down or an offside or any play call like that. So what do? They call a timeout, rally the troops together, and they're able to hone in, play great defense. University of Wyoming passed the ball, and again, we talked about the run needs to be established for this team to win this football game. They don't do it right there on 4th and 3 and give the Rebels the ball back. In a situation where they could have got points, could have settled for 3 there, it kind of came back to bite this Wyoming offense in the foot.
Big 4th down stop for the Rebels. On the other side, Anthony Calandria and this offense will take field. Welcome back to War Memorial Stadium. The Rebels are on the field, leading 17-3. It is 2nd and 3 for the Rebels. Calandria, play action, fires. Bradley taking flight for the first down. A quick pass ends up in a huge highlight play there by Jaden Bradley.
Not Air Jordan, but Air Bradley right there showing the athleticism. But this all started with UNLV's first play on this drive, being able to utilize their quarterback speed option game, give the ball to Jet Thomas, and allow him to make plays in space. That is what's going to open up the play action bootleg, and that is why you have Jaden Bradley being able to show his hops on the play right there.
That play puts the Rebels inside Wyoming territory at the 46, 1st and 10. Calandria, play action, finds a wide open receiver, and it's dropped there by number 8, Tayshawn Lyons.
Right
but
there.
There's a flag on the play, partner. There's a flag on the play.
They might be able to get this one back, get some yards still on the play call right here. Also might be a holding on the backfield. I did see a little bit of action between the right tackle and the defensive end right there. Yep,
And
holding on
correct.
the play. On the play. But still, Almost a great pitch and catch between Anthony Calandria and Tayshawn Lyons. The ball was just a little bit out in front of him, but again, we see these elements come into play. When you're running your routes and you're trying to stem up and be able to get out of your breaks and get out of your cuts, it'll be a little bit more difficult because you're not playing on perfectly fine grass. You're playing in the snow. Right there, he's able to lose his eye on the football. We're unable to get that pitch and catch.
10-yard holding penalty on the right tackle for the Rebels. James Faminu, the kid from London, England. Handoff up the middle to Thomas. Only get chump change there for yardage. Good play there by the defensive front by Wyoming.
It's a great job by the defensive front of Wyoming. And again, we see number 6, Eller, being able to put his head in right there at the linebacker position, make a good tackle right there for Jet Thomas. But on a play that was a 2nd and 20, he was met in the backfield. You see Jet Thomas, again, carrying bodies with him for a hard 3 yards. But if you're UNLV in this offense, you like to see the aggressiveness of Corey Dennis, but you also understand you have a 2-touchdown lead. Let's take care of the football and continue to be efficient.
2nd and 17 from their own 46. Calandria flicks it forward, almost intercepted, batted down on the play by Johnson. A dangerous decision there, almost costed them field position.
And that's some of the things that we've seen from Anthony Calandria. We've seen him be very efficient, very sharp, very smart as a quarterback. Right there, I was just talking about UNLV does not need to put the ball in harm's way, understanding that they are playing this football game with a lead of 2 scores. You do not need to flip it out to Jet Thomas and try to make something happen. Sometimes, hey, you're Anthony Calandria. Use your legs. Try to take off with the football. We've seen him do it before. Now it's setting up a long 3rd and 17.
The Rebels have only converted 1 of 3 here today, and that's going to be 1 of 4. Handoff to Lee just outside or just inside Wyoming territory. It's going to be a 4th down here. Tackle there by Taylor.
It's another great job back-to-back by this Wyoming defense, continuing to bend but not break, understanding that, yes, their offense did lead them in a predicament, getting the football back to the UNLV Rebels. But, again, they're able to hold this UNLV offense, and we kind of see them stall out a little bit in the snow. I don't know if the weather and the elements are getting to them a little bit, but we see them stall out. Let's see if they can try to be successful again on their next drive.
First time we're seeing Cam Brown for the Rebels. 11 punts so far this season, averaging 43 yards, and pins that inside the 5. McGee slaps the ball back in so it doesn't go inside the end zone, and the Cowboys will get the ball at their own 7-yard line. Good punt there by Brown.
Another great punt right there by Brown, but you seen Caden McGee doing his little best paddle ball impression, being able to smack the football from going into the end zone, allowing it to be a touchback for the offense. And what does he do? He's able to smack the ball back. It's inside the 10-yard line. It looks like it's going to be around the 8. Great job right there by the special team unit again today on the football field.
Rebels lead 17-3. When we come back, the Cowboys will take the field at their own 8-yard line. A scoreless second quarter at War Memorial Stadium. It's the homecoming game for the Wyoming Cowboys. The Rebels lead 17-3, and off a great boot by Cam Brown, the Cowboys will start their offensive drive at their own 7-yard line.
And they're going to have a long way to go to try to get in the end zone, Wyatt. But when you're looking at this Wyoming team, again, you need to be able to establish the run. That is going to be something that they want to do to be successful in this football game. It's also going to open up their play action pass game and allow them to have more looks on the offensive side of the ball.
Anderson under center, handoff. Harris off the right side, trucking forward and brought down around the 10.
It's actually going to be Scott right there on that play, being able to have a great, nice, hard run. And it looks like they only gave him 3 yards. It looked like it was 4 or 5. They only give him 3 right there. But if you're UNLV, you continue to do what you've been doing so far. You've done a great job of containing not only the run, but the pass game. You want to continue to lean on that, try to put pressure on Caden Anderson again.
2nd and 7, shotgun formation here for Anderson. Fires near sideline. Powell try to jump the play, but it's incomplete pass too far outside, and there's a flag thrown on that near side.
Looks like it might be pass interference out there on the outside boundary corner. Anthony Powell, who's been by himself on an island a lot this season. We haven't seen very many pass interference calls go against him. Right there, he got a little bit too physical on the outside with the receiver. Didn't allow him to get out of his break, put hands on. They're going to give them a free first down right there for the Wyoming Cowboys, which is what they want. They want to be able to get free yards whenever they can. Let's see what they can do with a fresh 1st and 10.
And not even trying to slant or be biased here. That ball didn't even look catchable.
No, not at all. Right there you have, again, the UNLV pressure, being able to get to the quarterback, allow him to rush the football out. And when you're able to do that, you're going to have bad balls. Right there, UNLV's defense and Powell bailed him out.
DeBlanc in motion. He gets blown up behind the play, and it's Anderson who is the keeper, tackled by McDuffie on that first down at their own 20. Look at this hit here. Oh, my goodness.
Right there, you had DeBlanc. Unfortunately, he had to be the victim on that play and take one for the betterment of the team, and his quarterback made a business decision. He pulled the football out. He was able to see that Marcel McDuffie was coming down with bad intentions, was able to pick up 3 yards for the Cowboys right there on that play.
Under center, Anderson with pressure in his face by Borders has to flush it and throw it away. Good pull out on first down, and now has to throw it away on 3rd.
And it's another great example of what UNLV has been able to do with their pressure. And they're only pressuring 4 defensive linemen. Right there, you had Chief Borders be able to get after the quarterback, make Anderson flush outside of the pocket, throw the football away, setting up a long 3rd and 7. UNLV defense has came to play today, trying to get this UNLV offense the football back.
8:34 remaining in the first half, 3rd and 7 at their own 23-yard line. Spread offense here for the Cowboys. Anderson looking, rolls out right, Borders in his face, flag on the play, deep down the far sideline, and caught on the play. No, line judge says incomplete. It looked like he completed the process, and then the ball's jarred out there at the very end. Good coverage there by Darian Stewart, the senior from BYU.
That's amazing coverage, again, by this UNLV secondary. They have been very underrated to start this year. Again, like I said earlier, the points may be going against their favor, but they have done a great job in coverage. And so far in this game, even with Anderson trying to get outside the pocket, extend with his legs, they've still been able to stay right in phase, right in the receiver's hip pocket.
2 flags on the play. They will offset, and it'll be 3rd down once again. Offsides on the Rebels. You got to limit being able to do those plays. Fortunately, in this game, there hasn't been a lot of penalties, unlike what we've seen in these first 4 games. And now we will repeat 3rd and 7 for the Cowboys.
And right now we have Amaris Brown. It looked like he was the one that was called with the offsides. He's off the field right now, but it's 3rd and 7. Let's see what the Wyoming Cowboys are going to be able to do. It's an obvious passing down. You need to be able to pick up this first down and keep And it looks like there's going to be another flag on the play. And it potentially is going against the Cowboys again. It might be holding once again. And if you're the Wyoming Cowboys, again, if you want to win this football game, you can't have penalties. And that may be due to some of that rest when you're in bye week. But when you are in the bye week, that's about cleaning up the little things, filling in those gaps, making sure that all those holes in the defense and in the offense are unclogged and they're going to be able to get put together. Let's see what the flag is going to be on the play right now.
And it'll be a false start penalty on this offense. And going to take a quick time here to mention the offsides on UNLV. Looks like Chief Borders. Osei Gbase. It'll be first down for the Cowboys.
And right there, UNLV, again, doing a great job so far as a defensive unit. But right there, you let them off the hook. Adelaye was unfortunately in the neutral zone and was offside. You're giving them another free first down. And for your UNLV Rebels and Dan Mullen, you don't want to give those away. You've done a great job of keeping this Wyoming offense kind of not within the flow on how they want to play their football game. They need to continue to be efficient.
Wyoming 1st and 10. Going deep, Anderson one-on-one. Batted away. Great coverage there by Quandarius Keys on the coverage.
We've seen Quandarius Keys numerous times in this football season do a great job of staying in phase and trying to high point the football. Right there, he did an amazing job of staying in coverage, understanding that Wyoming was going to throw his way at some point in this football game. What does he do? He stays aggressive. He doesn't get to the wide receiver too early and pick up a little petty pass interference call. He stays in phase, try to make a play on the ball, incomplete for the Cowboys.
The transfer from ASU with a big pass deflection there. Anderson looking on 2nd and 10, going through his progressions, almost intercepted and pass deflected there by Andrew Powdrell. Third down for the Cowboys at their own 44-yard line. 10 on the play clock here. They're down 17-3 to the Rebels. Near side, over the head, and incomplete. It's going to be 4th down.
And again, more great coverage on the boundary side with Andrew Powdrell. Right there was straight man-to-man. And what did Andrew Powdrell do? All he had to do was put his hands behind his back. He was perfectly in phase and basically ran the route for the receiver. And unfortunately, Anderson did not allow his receiver to get a catchable ball right there. And we've seen him a couple times today rush the ball out because of UNLV's defensive ends, Chief Borders and Adelaye, being able to get after the quarterback, put pressure on him, and not allow him to be comfortable in that pocket.
And the punt here by Bart Edmiston, 39 yards down the field, will pin the Rebels inside their own 20, around the 12. We're going to step aside here briefly. The Rebels lead 17-3 at Laramie. You're listening to UNLV football here on Rebel Sports Net. War Memorial Stadium, the Rebels lead 17-3 at the Cowboys' homecoming game. And the elements have started to subside a little bit, but we still are seeing it here in the second quarter.
Right here in the second quarter, it's kind of been a stark contrast to what we saw in the first quarter between the two teams.
Welcome back to Rebel Sportsnet. Sorry for the technical difficulties. You're listening to UNLV football here. Partner, this game 17-3. The environment has continued to subside a little bit, but that has not been indicative of the play we've seen so far in the second quarter.
Buttering side for both offensives in this football game. We've seen them try to pass the ball and try to be efficient. It's kind of gone a little bit of both ways, and penalties also get in the way of that as well.
And Calandria sacked on the play on second down, brought down by this Wyoming defense, number 6, Evan Eller, who recovered the fumble earlier on the first play of the game.
We've heard Evan Eller's name all day today, and right there we have a design blitz by this Wyoming defense, and from the nickelback position, Hearn trying to get after the quarterback, and right there you have Eller being able to be the QB spy on that play, accounting for Anthony Calandria, not allowing him to get outside the pocket, make a big play with his legs. He's done a great job for this Wyoming defense so far today as that will linebacker for this team.
Calandria at the Rebels, and the Rebels are on their own 8-yard line. One on the play clock, 3rd and 14. They barely get it off, but now the referees blow it dead, and it'll be a false start penalty on the Scarlet and Gray.
And right here, it's been very sloppy so far for UNLV on this drive. You see them right there trying to get set, trying to have everybody hurry up to the front of the line to be able to get a play call across, and they're unfortunately not able to do that. But UNLV has left a lot of meat on the bone in this football game. There's a lot of opportunities that they've had to try to get set and make sure that they have the right play call in. Right there, Kevon Lee, unfortunately, was not able to be efficient for the team on that down, setting up a long 3rd and 18 with their own end zone right behind them.
Not the ideal situation here for Dan Mullen and Corey Dennis. The Rebels backed up at their own 4-yard line. 3rd and 18 here. And it'll be a handoff. Jet Thomas with blockers in front of him. Jumps forward past the 15, down at the 17, but it's going to be 4th down.
Right there, Jet Thomas almost got that first down on that play and almost salvaged a drive that was really nothing good at all for this UNLV offense. Unfortunately, they're going to have to settle for a punt here on 4th and 6, continue to play the down and distance game, understanding that, again, you still are up 2 scores, and your defense has done a phenomenal job of holding this Cowboys offense to nothing so far. Nothing but a field goal outside of that first drive for the Cowboys today.
And back-to-back possessions, Cam Brown comes out, punts this ball, and that did not get far here. So the Cowboys will have excellent field position inside UNLV territory at the 30. Not the punt that we've seen from Cam Brown this season, and sometimes it's just not going to go your way. That time it went out at the 30-yard line.
And right there, you know, again, it's another example of the elements. As a punter, you're punting in the snow now. Your footing is going to be 100% different compared to an environment where you're playing in Allegiant Stadium. You have the world-class facility, and it's going to just be a different environment. It's going to be a different situation. Right there, that was a punt that Cam Brown would have wanted to get back, and now they're starting with the ball on UNLV's 30-yard line. That is not what you want to see from this team when it comes to the special teams unit.
And Brown punted the ball on the laces, which explains why that punt went wire. Anderson on 1st and 10 going deep. Broken up there by Jake Pope. What a play. Saves the touchdown for this defense.
That's a great example of why Georgia University has been one of the best universities when it comes to making defensive backs. Jake Pope is one of those guys that came from and played in that system. What did he do at the safety position? They say safeties are supposed to fill round gaps in the box. No, they also have to be Swiss Army knives and play great in coverage. He does exactly that on that play.
Anderson pistol formation. Harris, the back. Hand off to Harris off the right side. Coughs up the ball, and the Rebels have it on second down. They turn the ball over again, and this Scarlet Gray defense remains stout once again.
Another great big-time play between Mumu Bin Wahad and also Marcel McDuffie trying to get the football out and get another turnover for this UNLV defense.
And this excitement might be held short because there is a flag on the play. Not sure which side this penalty will be on. An excited defensive effort there might be turned around with Bin Wahad holding on to that ball tight.
When you're a defensive back, it's very few and far between to try to get that football and get hands on it. Whenever you have a turnover, you don't want to let that thing go, even if it is giving it back to the referee.
And it's going to be a targeting call on the Rebels, and they're going to review it here. And Bin Wahad is stunned.
And that's a play right there for the Rebels. You see Wahad trying to go in there and trying to make a big hit stick tackle, but unfortunately he goes in and puts his head first when trying to make the tackle on the running back. If you're a defensive back, that is something that you have to know and understand, that not only for his safety but for your safety. You have to keep your head out of the play. Unfortunately, he puts his helmet, his hard hat right on the football. That is what made the fumble in the first place, and the referees have to call that 10 out of 10 times. Good call by the referees, understanding that they want to keep both players safe in that situation, and unfortunately, UNLV's defense is not going to be able to get the football back on that play.
Well, this play is under review for targeting. Both elements must be present, lowering the head before attacking, and forcible contact with the crown of the helmet. It seems when we look at the replay, he gets a majority of his head on Harris's chest, on his chest pads.
Yes.
He does get a nick on the bottom of his face mask, but this could be not upheld and
overturned,
reversed.
100%. And you usually when you see those targeting calls, they're usually plays where it's a dirty play. Right there, Mumu Bin Wahad was simply trying to wrap up and make a tackle on not only the player, but trying to get and make a play on the football. It didn't look like anything malicious. It didn't look like anything bad. Unfortunately, sometimes when you're playing football, those are going to be some of the plays that happen. It's a very physical game. And when you're playing that defensive back position, you're trying to come downhill and make a big hit. Sometimes, unfortunately, you're going to put your head in there, and that's something that UNLV's defense is going to have to live with. But we've seen Bin Wahad make a lot of big plays. It's going to have to be on Amarish Brown and the rest of this defensive back unit to potentially make up for Mumu Bin Wahad if he is ejected from this football game.
It came from a 6-yard carry from Samuel, hit and jars the ball out by Mumu Bin Wahad, recovered by Wahad. They are currently reviewing the play for targeting on the defensive back. The Rebels lead 17-3 here with 5:04 remaining in the first half. And Coach Mullen is showing great emotion on the sideline right now as we still await what the official ruling will be.
And right here, you never want to see a player have to get ejected from the football game. You know these guys cherish the moment to be able to go out there with their brothers and play this game. And unfortunately, sometimes that is what's going to happen. Sometimes there are going to be penalties, and you have to live with that. Let's see what the referees come up and decide on this play for this football game.
Awaiting the call here from Kenneth Ray, discussing it one time more alongside his officiating crew at Laramie. We're seeing a lot of movement on the UNLV sideline, and they're getting excited. A long explanation here from Kenneth Ray, and it looks like Mumu Bin Wahad will stay in the game, and the Rebels take over on offense.
And right there, how have the turntables. Right there, we have UNLV's defense being able to get the football back to this offense, and they have done that so far so efficiently this year. That is now the 12th turnover on the year for this team, and they can definitely go back to Las Vegas and be able to hit the slot machine, the turnover machine, and Mumu Bin Wahad with the big play to get this offense the football back.
Bin Wahad with the second turnover from the defense, and it now puts this Scarlet and Gray offense on the field. And a good carry there by this running back group. This time, it's Glover.
Right there by Glover, being able to put his head down and simply fight for as many yards as he can get on a simple inside zone. And if you're Corey Dennis, you have to understand time and possession. Right now, UNLV has 4 minutes to score until the end of the second half, and they're doing a great job of trying to dominate and own the line of scrimmage. If they use Jet Thomas in this run game efficiently, they will be able to not only score points, but now allow Wyoming to start the second half with the football. Or they're going to start with the football, but they're not going to allow them to get points to end this first half.
2nd and 7 there, stuffed near the line of scrimmage in pistol formation. That run there by Glover. It's going to be 3rd down and 7.
And again, we see another great job of Wyoming being able to fill the gaps and stop this UNLV offense when it comes to running the ball. Let's see what they can dial up here on 3rd and 7. I like to see Anthony Calantro be able to bootleg out, get in the space, and allow him options. Not only with his receivers, but if all of them are covered, be able to use his legs and pick up a crucial 1st down for the Rebel offense.
Big 3rd down here for the Rebels. They're 1 of 5 on 3rd down today. 5 seconds on the play clock. Glover motioned, pressure, fires down the far sideline. Incomplete. Bradley had it in his hands, but unable to come down with it, juggling it, and it's now 4th down.
Right there, you have 2 competitors trying to high point the football. Jaden Bradley was able to get both hands on it, take a picture of the football, but unfortunately he was not able to survive the ground. The ball bobbles, and this Wyoming defense once again is bailing out this offense and able to give them the opportunity to score more points. With 3 minutes and 35 seconds left, that's exactly what Wyoming needed to potentially get back into this football game.
Cam Brown for the 3rd straight possession, having to punt it. Looked like he almost faked it there, having to run a couple steps forward. And a good punt here inside the 10 and 5. McGee will stop the ball around the 2 or 3 yard line, pinning this offense back inside their own end zone, making up for a bad punt just a possession ago, and now redeems himself with an excellent display using his leg there.
You said it perfectly, Wyatt. Right there, you have Cam Brown showing that he has short-term memory loss. What does he do? The dude looks like he's literally going to run a fake play and try to pick up the 1st down himself with all the space in the world. What does he do? He kicks the ball all the way down inside of the Wyoming 5-yard line and giving the UNLV defense great field position to potentially have force another 3 and out and give this offense the football back. You have to love what you're seeing again from this UNLV special teams being able to bounce back from the punt that they had on the previous possession.
71-yard punt for Brown, and took a huge Rebel bounce from the 20 all the way near the 2 or 3 yard line. And DeBlanc tried to get McGee there to touch the ball. And the ball will be placed at the 1 after a penalty on Wyoming. Anderson under center, 1st and 10 with 3:22, trailing 17-3. Handoff, gets a gap, breaks a tackle, and is brought down by Pope near the yard to gain. Good run there by Scott.
That was a great job by Scott, being able to see the gap that was opened up by this Wyoming offensive line, and they were able to give him enough room to get out of his own end zone. That was a great job by the Wyoming Cowboy offensive line group to be able to move the pile, move the line to gain, and pick up a big 1st down to give their quarterback some breathing room here on 1st and 10.
1st down carry, and another good one here by the Cowboys. Again, Scott for a gain of about 7 on 1st down.
And again, more hard running right there by Scott. And these are simple inside zone runs. Right now, they are basically on a 2-minute drill. They're trying to move the ball quick.
And this play picks up the 1st down by Scott, moving the chains again, trying to get another play or two before this 2-minute timeout. Fast pace here by this Wyoming offense.
It's a great job by Wyoming, understanding that, again, you don't have to pass the football to be able to get explosive and nice chunk plays. They're being able to commit to the run and use this UNLV defense of line and tire them out.
1st and 10 at their own 22. Anderson fires, tipped up, caught. Good catch there by Chris Durr Jr., And that's going to take us to the 2-minute timeout. The Rebels lead 17-3 here at Laramie. Stick with us here on the other side. You're listening to UNLV football here on Rebel Sports Network. Fresh off the 2-minute timeout, the Rebels lead 17-3, but the Cowboys have the ball and are trying to march down the field. The previous play was a catch and it was overturned to be an incompletion, so it is 2nd and 10 at the Cowboys' own 22-yard line. 1:59 remains in the half.
And if you're this UNLV defense, you have to have a sigh of relief right there. You're setting yourself up 2nd and 10. If you get a stop right here on a big down, UNLV's offense has a great opportunity to score more points before the end of the half.
Pistol formation. Both teams have 2 timeouts remaining. Twins right here for the Cowboys. Anderson. Handoff to the right side and brought down near the line of gain is Kelman. And we'll see if the Rebels call a timeout here as the clock continues to tick.
That's a great job right there by Adeleye, being able to stay on the outside and not allow the running back to get outside of his frame. He was able to understand that my leverage is on the outside, so what do I need to do? I need to funnel the running back to the inside. But what does he do? Not only with an offensive lineman on him, but with one arm, he's able to make a tackle on the running back, setting up a huge 3rd and 10 for the Wyoming Cowboys now.
3rd and 10 at their own 22. 6 on the play clock. Pressure. Pre-snap look from this defense. Barely gets the snap off the outside left and brought down by a couple of Rebels. Scott short of the line to gain, and it'll be 4th down. And UNLV will take their 2nd timeout, savoring 64 seconds left on the clock.
That's a great job by Jake Pope, understanding that I cannot allow this running back to get outside of my frame. I have to make a tackle. He does exactly that. Leads into a 1 yard gain right there to be able to give UNLV's offense the ball back. Dan Mullen takes a very smart timeout to give his quarterback Anthony Calandria the opportunity to make a play and get more points before they head into halftime. And if you're UNLV, you have to be very happy that this game is not as close as it could have been, because the defense has stepped up today and done a great job of limiting this Wyoming offense so far today.
When you take a look at the stats, it's pretty even. I mean, the Cowboys lead on the total yards. The Rebels lead in rushing yards. Time of possession goes in favors towards the Cowboys, but it's been about opportunities and capitalizing at the right moment at the right time. The Cowboys had an early turnover, got one, but were only able to get 3 with 1:06 remaining. The Cowboys are now here to punt. Bar Edmiston blocked again. This time, McGee on the block and picked up by Bradley. He walks into the end zone. Touchdown Rebels for their second special team score of the game.
And if you are out there somehow, some way, there is somebody in the world that put UNLV on a parlay today for 2 special teams touchdowns, and they have to be cashing in big, ready to go to MGM Grand and cash out for the night of their lives. Because UNLV and this special teams unit and their gunners have done a fantastic job of getting after the punter, not fouling him, not having any penalties, but simply diving out, and Caden McGee is the recipient of that play right there, and Jaden Bradley's able to do the simple scoop and score, setting up this UNLV offense, and 4 seconds went off the clock for them to be able to score that touchdown. You have to love it if you are Dan Mullen and putting this team up 3 scores, heading potentially in the halftime.
Edmiston blocked for the second time today. The first time around, McGee scored the touchdown. He then blocks this one, and Bradley walks it in to lead 24-3. You're listening to UNLV football here on Rebel Sports Net. Thanks for sticking with us here on Rebel Sports Net. If you're just now tuning in, the Rebel special team has been on fire today. A second block punt returned for a touchdown. The first time, McGee with the return into the end zone. This time, he blocks it, and Jaden Bradley returns it into the house. The Rebels lead 24-3 with 59 seconds remaining in the first half.
And if you're Dan Mullen and this entire UNLV offensive room, especially the coaches, and then on the other side with special teams, you have to love to see your wide receivers, Caden McGee and Jaden Bradley, buying into what this football team wants them to do on the special teams unit. For wide receivers, it may be boring. It might be something that you don't want to do. But if you're Caden McGee, a guy that is kind of behind in the depth chart, behind Jaden Bradley, Troy O'Meara, and a lot of these other weapons that UNLV has, you are showing Dan Mullen, your coach, that I am here to stay. I want to have a role in this football team, and I'm going to do what it takes to make plays, whether it be on offense, defense, or special teams. And that is exactly what they have been able to do so far. You love to see it for this UNLV Rebel team, not only being able to get it done offensively and defensively, but once again, the special teams coming up clutch for this football team, giving them a 3-time score lead in this football game here in Wyoming.
14 minutes and 1 second was the time that it took for a team in the second quarter to score, and the Rebels punch it in for 7. Now the Cowboys come out onto the field at their own 25. It's 1st and 10. Anderson in shotgun formation, looking to try to put some points up on the board right before this half ends. Connects with Scott here in the middle of the field. He tries to run outside, and the clock will continue to tick. 2nd down.
That's a great job by Anderson, understanding that if UNLV, again, they're backing up. They're not going to allow for the big splash play to happen before halftime. So what do you have to do? Get it to your running back, be able to get as much yards as you can, and allow your playmaker to make a play.
Spread offense here. Anderson in shotgun, 2nd and 1, less than 30 seconds. Pressure from this front 4, tipped up into the air, almost intercepted. Great pressure there from this defense. Thomas is the one that tipped it up, and Egbase almost intercepted it. If there was no snow on the field, he would have been able to plant and dive for it, but a smart play to not risk himself injury, and a huge 2nd down deflection and stop.
And we see, again, UNLV doing a great job of putting pressure on the quarterback with only 4 rushers. That helps your defensive back room so much.
3rd and 1, Cowboys, spread offense, shotgun formation. Scott picks up the first down, so the clock will stop at 20 seconds.
Nice hard running right there by Scott, being able to pick up the big first down for this Wyoming Cowboy group, who need to get some type of points before they head into halftime.
And there was a penalty flag on the field on Wyoming's offense, hence the hesitation in the call. Could not tell if that was a yellow cleat or an actual penalty flag, but it will be coming back and be 3rd and long here.
Looked like somebody threw a snow cone down there, Wyatt, down there onto the football field. Kind of hard to distinguish what's a flag and what isn't a flag today.
And the clock will continue to tick, and Wyoming will not take a timeout. 10 seconds remaining on the game clock. The Rebels lead 24-3. Wyoming looking like they're not going to snap the ball here. And that will be the case. 30 minutes down, the Rebels lead 24-3 in their first game in the Mountain West Conference play. A good start for this Rebel offense, defense, and special teams, all 3 phases. We're going to step aside here for the halftime break. Stick with us here on the other side. More coverage on UNLV football here on Rebel Sports Network. Welcome back to War Memorial Stadium. The Rebels are on the road for the first Mountain West matchup in Laramie, Wyoming against the Cowboys. And an absolute masterclass in all three phases. The Rebels lead 24-3 at the start of the second half. And Johnnie, I mean, where do you even begin to start?
You have to start on special teams. They have to be the MVP of the first half. And if game balls at the end of this football game, if UNLV happens to win this game, it has to go to Caden McGee in the special teams unit, Jaden Bradley, and what they've been able to do on the special teams side of the football. And to think that UNLV is up 3 scores in this football game with only 48 passing yards and 67 rushing yards is a testament to how bought in these guys truly are on all 3 phases. But you have to also give credit to this UNLV defense. Coming out of the bye week, you're going to be sluggish. You are going to have a little bit of cobwebs because, again, the same scenario happened when UNLV was playing Miami of Ohio. They came out, they had some mistakes, they had some turnovers, but they cleaned it up as the game went along. But I've loved the consistency that I've seen from this UNLV defense, and they're a part of the reason why Wyoming has only gotten 3 points on that first drive of the football game so far today.
The Cowboys on their first drive scored 3 points, and since then have unable to answer any kind of way to get some points on the board. A lot of adjustments have been needing to be made.
Yes.
And at halftime going into this second half, and they will get the ball here first at their own 25-yard line. Anderson, play action, rolls out left, finds a wide open Sargent, and he picks up a gain of about 8 or 9 there.
That's a great play call by Jay Johnson to open up the half, being able to try to mix up your looks and allow Anderson to be able to get out in the space, use the bootleg the same way UNLV's offense and Corey Dennis used Anthony Carlandria. Give your quarterback options. If the reads are not there, then you run. Right there, the read was there. You give it to your receiver. You allow him to make a play with the football.
Sargent in motion from left to right, 2nd and 1 for the Cowboys. Screen here. It's going to be Scott, picks up the first down and some more, cuts back inside, breaks a tackle, wide open lane down the middle of the field, and brought down by Pope inside UNLV territory.
That was a beautiful setup by the Wyoming offensive line, being able to give Scott enough space to take that running back slip screen and almost take it to the house right there. When you're able to get your guy out in the space and give your running back a chance with the football to be a playmaker, that is what this Wyoming offense is going to need to do. On the defensive side of the ball, though, UNLV has to understand the game script and what Wyoming is trying to do, playing from behind 3 scores. They need to score points. They're going to pass the football.
36 yards through the air, and Scott here picks up a gain of 9 using his legs. What a great display here of Scott's versatility early in the second half.
That's a great use of tempo, again, by Jay Johnson, being able to switch up the looks, keep this UNLV defense on their toes.
2nd and 1, quick pass here, completes it, picks up the first down on the far sideline, carrying and dragging multiple Rebel defenders. First down, and an injured Cowboys able to get up. It's Richardson with a big gain there.
And right there, you see Wyoming using the wide receiver quick screen game. If the defensive backs are going to play off-command coverage for the UNLV Rebels, you have to eat up that cushion, eat up that space, give your wide receiver a chance to make a play with the football, and allow them to pick up the easy pitch and catch for a first down.
1st and 10 at the UNLV 12-yard line inside the red zone. The motion man DeBlanc hands off to him. He finds a lane, and he's in. Touchdown, Cowboys, and they get on their first drive of the second half. They punch it in for 6.
And that is the first time today that we've seen this Wyoming Cowboy offense come out with a vengeance and a sense of urgency. They understand we are in Mountain West Conference play football. These football games matter. If we do not want to start this season off 2-3, we have to come out and make a statement that we aren't just going to lie down on homecoming and allow this UNLV Rebel team to inflict their will upon us. What did Jay Johnson and this offense do to start the drive so far for this second half for Wyoming football? They came out, they were aggressive, they changed up the tempo and left this UNLV defense reeling. Let's see if the offense is going to be able to try to match the same intensity that Wyoming came out with. It's the start this second half.
5 plays, 75 yards in just under 2 minutes and 15 seconds. The Cowboys respond early in the second half. The Rebels lead 24-10 here on Rebel Sports Network. The Cowboys have some life at War Memorial Stadium. Fresh out the halftime break, they score on their first opening drive. 5 plays, 75 yards off a pitch and run by Dion DeBlanc. 12-yard run in and score, and it was sparked by the 36-yard slip screen for Scott.
And you have to love, again, the sense of urgency from this Wyoming offense to come into the second half. And you have to think their head coach went into that halftime locker room speech and had to put a licking on them. You understand, we are in homecoming. We are on our home turf. We need to be able to assert our dominance in the second half. They did exactly that. And the biggest part of that drive was how quick they scored. With that big slip screen, they were able to score in 2 minutes and 14 seconds, which is now putting this Wyoming defense back onto the football field that has been very successful in trying to stall out this UNLV offense. They need to do it once again if they want to get their offensive football back and continue to have a chance to claw their way back in this football game.
Wyoming in the first half, 138 total offensive yards in that first drive, 75. So obviously the spark in the halftime break inside the locker room worked. And now we will see if the Rebels of UNLV will respond here. Deep back for the Rebels is Glover, and he's going to take a knee. So this offense will start out for their first drive of the second half at the 25-yard line.
And if you're Dan Mullen, Corey Dennis, and Anthony Calandria, everything that needs to happen on this drive needs to be on the focus on trying to get first downs, keep the chains moving, keep the clock churning. And the biggest part of that starts with this running game. If they're able to go back to the running game and be successful with Jet Thomas, Jalen Glover, and Kevon Lee, keeping those rotations clear, keeping those running backs healthy, they're going to be able to inflict their will on Wyoming's defense and churn more clock and keep this lead up.
1st and 10, Irving motion from right to left. Play action, lots of movement, pressure. Calandria slips a tackle, throws deep across the field. Incomplete, hits the back of the Wyoming defender, Andrew Johnson, who is in coverage there. 2nd down.
And that's a great effort by Anthony Calandria trying to get loose from Hearns, who was on his tail, trying to make a big-time tackle. Right there, I would have rather liked to see Anthony Calandria use his legs, try to get the first down. You don't have anybody in front of you. Right there, again, he's a gunslinger. The kid is trying to make big plays. But right there, you would like to see him pull it down, make sure that he's careful with the football. Don't allow Wyoming to get this ball back in a good situation.
Calandria hands the ball off. Off the right side is Thomas for a gain about 5 or 6. That play intended for D'Angelo Irvin Jr. He had a couple steps on this defender, but the ball was just a little bit behind him as Calandria had to throw the ball with an uneven base.
That's a great hard run right there by Jet Thomas. And if you look back, you have a left guard pulling, trying to get outside of the defensive end. And he's able to meet his assignment. But you have big number 90 trying to fill that gap right there in the defensive tackle spot, making a sure tackle on Jet Thomas, setting up a big 3rd down and 6 for this defense.
3rd and 6 for the Rebels. Across the middle, connects. Bradley brought down at the 40-yard line, and that will move the chains there.
And when in doubt, you pick up with your number 1 receiver, and that's exactly what Anthony Calandria was able to do. And actually, no, that's actually going to be Coy Moore, another part of this UNLV offense that we haven't seen a lot of coming into this football game. But here, when your number is called, you need to be able to make a play. Anthony Calandria hits him right on the numbers. 1st down, Rebels.
1st down there, Coy Moore with 1 reception 2 weeks ago in Miami of Ohio. Gets a huge gain there to move the chains, and that handoff up the middle to Thomas picks up a gain of 4 here.
A nice gain of 4, but great toughness right there by Jet Thomas. He took a big hit from the back by the defensive end trying to come in and make a sure tackle, making sure that he didn't get any other yards to gain on that play. Jet Thomas being able to stand back up, say, I got a lot of heart, got a lot of fight, being able to set up now a 2nd and 6 for this UNLV offense.
Just under 11 minutes to go. The Rebels lead 24-10 on their opening second half drive. Play action, Calandria, pressure, hit and sacked for a loss there. A big play by this front from Wyoming. And it's going to be a 3rd and long for the Rebels.
What a great move right there by Tice Westland, the defensive end coming off the edge. When 6'5", 201 pounds are coming down at you that fast, you have to think and make a business decision. Anthony Calandria did not see him at all from that blindside position at the quarterback position, and right there, unfortunately, he's having to eat a sack. Now it's setting up 3rd and 14 for the Rebels on that play.
2 of 7 on 3rd down today. The Rebels 3rd and 14. Quick screen here for Irvin, and he's going to be hit behind the line. He might have been lucky if he made it to the line of scrimmage. Tackled there by Johnson, and that's a quick stop there, and they're going to be punting the ball here.
And Corey Dennis on that play call tried to catch the Wyoming Cowboys lacking. He tried to see if he was going to be able to give Irvin a shot on that simple wide receiver screen. Unfortunately, the linebacker room for Wyoming today has been exceptional in coverage. Right there, they knew immediately where the ball was going, and Johnson comes like a bat out of hell and is going straight to the football. Makes a great tackle to set up now 4th and 14 and a big punt for this Wyoming defense.
Brown pins this ball right around the Cowboy 22. And this offense for Wyoming will take the field after an impressive first drive in the second half, 75 yards down. And they will have an opportunity to continue to show that they made great adjustments. The Rebels lead 24-10 in the second half. You're listening to Rebel Football here on Rebel Sports Network. Last drive, 5 plays, 75 yards for the Cowboys. That ends up in 7, their first touchdown of the game. And now they have another opportunity here to put some more points on the board after a great adjustment from the first half to the second, Johnny.
And what I love to see so far from this Wyoming offense is them utilizing what weapons they have. And the biggest one on that last drive was Sam Scott. The running back from Omaha, Nebraska, has done a great job today. He was able to have 36 receiving yards on that last drive just on that long running back slip screen alone. They need to keep giving him the ball and keep this running game churning.
And they do, and he turns the legs for an 8-yard carry on first down.
It's a great job right there by this offensive line of Wyoming, being able to push the line of scrimmage and give Sam Scott ample running lanes to go through. And if you're UNLV, that's going to wear down your defensive line. That's going to make them more tired when it's pass down situation, and they're not going to have the same burst to get after the quarterback that they had in the first half.
It is now 2nd and 2 for the Cowboys at their own 29. Some pre-snap movement there by Svodoba. Throws far sideline open, and connects with Sargent. What a great throw there to put the Cowboys inside UNLV territory.
What a beautiful connection between quarterback and receiver on that play. You have Sargent running the simple slot fade. Again, that is a route that we have seen so much of in not only college football, but also on the next level in the NFL.
A fake screen, throwing it down the far sideline in double coverage out of bounds. Shaheem Joseph gets an extra little love tap to the tight end. It's going to be second down here.
That's a great job by this UNLV defensive back room, not being too greedy or too aggressive, understanding you have to know your personnel. Right there, Wyoming was trying to run a fake screen vertical play, and what did UNLV's defensive backs do? They didn't bait on that fake screen. They were able to stay on the hips of the defender and force an incompletion.
Widespread pistol formation for the Cowboys, 2nd and 10. Anderson motions Scott to his right. Play action, looks in the slot, connects, and brought down by Powdrell. Connected there to John Michael Gillenborg, the senior from Leawood, Kansas.
Right there, great hands catch by Gillenborg, being able to get that big catch right there, and it was very high above him.
And quick to the line of scrimmage on 3rd down. Stop behind the line. A strong and timely tackle by Isaiah Patterson, getting Scott behind the line of scrimmage and forcing it to be 4th down.
Isaiah Patterson, understanding at that linebacker position, you have to come down and be ready to fill gaps, whether it be A, B, or C, or even if the running back bounces outside. That time, he was able to perfectly fill the C gap, make sure that Scott was not going to pick up any extra yardage to get the first down, setting up a big 4th and 3 here.
0 for 1 on 4th down today for the Cowboys. DeBlanc, the motion man, handoff, going outside, tries to get the angle, fighting for the first down and beats Pope to it and will move the chains here.
Sometimes the quicker man wins. In that situation, UNLV's defense did a fantastic job of meeting DeBlanc right where they needed to. Unfortunately, on that running back or wide receiver jet sweep, he was able to get outside of the contain, and they were not able to meet him at the edge. They pick up a big, much-needed first down to keep this drive going, not settle for 3. We've seen them be aggressive now on 4th down 2 times. That time they were able to pick it up and give more life to this Wyoming offense.
That carry now puts the Cowboys offense on the 32, but the end of the offensive line will be a false start. And it'll be on their tight end, Schoenfeld. So now they'll have first down and 15 from the UNLV 37.
And plays like that, or plays that shoot when you shoot yourself in the foot, they're going to mess up the flow that you have going on. You have a big 4th down conversion, for a pickup. You have all the momentum going for you. Then you have your tight end with an illegal motion, illegal movement on the play that messes up a false start, and that completely derails the momentum and positive progression that you have. You can't have that if you're Wyoming trying to claw back into this game.
Both teams with 5 penalties, the Rebels with 28, Wyoming with 31. 5 on the play clock here. Scott, the running back in the backfield, they will hand it off to him. And he's chugging for extra yards, carrying some men for a gain of about 5 or 6 there.
Beautiful ability to be able to move the pocket by Scott right there. He was completely wrapped up by Jalen Lee and the rest of the defensive tackles for UNLV. And somehow, some way, he was able to move the pile and set it up for a 2nd and 10 now for this Wyoming team. That was a great, strong run by him.
5:50 remaining in the 3rd quarter. The Rebels lead 24-10. And a long, exhaustive drive here for the Cowboys. Another screen. This time it's Kelman getting loose, breaking free inside the 20, still going inside the 10. And a number of Rebels have to drag him down. He will be brought down at the 4. What a run by Kelman.
Right there, Kelman again What have they been successful when it comes to doing today to this UNLV defense? The running back screen game, and they go back to it once again. They give their playmakers the balls, and when you have a running back that is out in space and he's able to use his running lanes and use his vision to get up to the second level, that is a dangerous thing for a defense to try to stop. They try to grab him by his t-shirt, basically almost ripping it off of him to get him down on the ground, and it takes about 5 Rebels to put him down onto the ground. What a great job by Wyoming and their play calling from Jay Johnson to be able to have some more fire on this second drive for them in the second half.
1st and goal from the 4. Handoff up the middle and swallowed up behind the line. Scott for a loss there. 2 trips in the red zone so far, and they have scored 2 touchdowns each time. We'll see what they're able to do on these set of downs inside the 10-yard line.
And right there, we saw a different wrinkle from Jay Johnson. It actually wasn't Caden Anderson taking the snap right there. It was actually one of their tight ends, Clay Nanke. He was actually the person that was giving the ball to the running back, and they were switching things up. You like to see them add more wrinkles to this offense, give this defense some more looks and people that they have to worry about when in terms of personnel.
2nd and 6. From the 6, 2nd and goal, and he's in. Touchdown, Cowboys. A reception there by Sam Scott to put the Cowboys in a 1-score game.
And what great composure by Caden Anderson to be able to find his running back as his safety valve, as his safety outlet, and allow him to pick up that huge touchdown. But there is a flag on the play. Let's see if this one does happen to get called back.
This might be a penalty flag after the fact, but a good design play there for the Cowboys offense to potentially put up 6 and make this a 1-score game.
And why you have to love the energy that Wyoming has come out to start this second half. They are playing now with a sense of urgency, the same sense of urgency that we saw the UNLV Rebels had after that first drive fumble. They have come out, they have come ready to play, and I love the intensity and how aggressive they have been to start this second half.
And we are waiting the call from Kenneth Ray, and it'll be a pass interference on Wyoming. Head coach Jay Sauvel is livid on the sideline. They called it on Evan Svoboda, the senior from Utah. They tried to design a receiver screen there. He was trying to break free on the route, but got caught up in Andrew Powdrell, and that's going to be taken back. A costly penalty there for the Cowboys.
And right there, you have a tight end going out in the coverage. And if you are 5 yards off of the ball, you can't have your hands on a defensive back. You're basically impeding his ability to try to make a play on the football. That's exactly why Scott was so wide open in that flat, because Powdrell was supposed to be that flat defender on the play.
2nd and goal, and intercepted going the other way. Past the 20, past the 30, flags on the play. Someone makes a tackle and brought down inside their own 40. Guess who? Quadarius Keys. There is a flag on the play, but as it stands, the Rebel offense will take over.
And right there, Quandarius Keys has another key to getting an interception. On that play, making a timely play when UNLV's defense needed it most. They were able to get off the field once again. There does happen to be a flag on the play, and it looks like this is going to potentially go against Wyoming. Let's see what the referees call right here.
Personal foul, blindside block on UNLV, so that'll just bring them back a little bit, that personal foul, but they will take over. 2nd and goal from the 6. A touchdown taken away by Svoboda, who was taking away that touchdown, backs him up 15 yards to the 21-yard line, and Anderson, who was trying to make a play, throws it up in the air, and Quandarius Keys gets an interception, putting this offense back on the field. The Rebels lead 24-10 here on Rebel Sports Network. The Cowboys have turned the ball over 3 times in this game. This time, Quandarius Keys intercepts. Caden Anderson returns it 35 yards down the field, but a personal foul call on UNLV brings it back 15 yards. So this offense will have the ball at their own 16.
And right there, you have Quandarius Keys again. The guy is a ball hawk. When the ball is in the air and a receiver is not looking, and he's able to have eyes not only on the quarterback but on the football, 9 times out of 10, he's going to catch the ball. Right there, UNLV caught a big break, and it was because of the penalties. Penalties will always come back to haunt you. Right there, Wyoming is going to have to look back at the tape when this game is over, and that is going to be a big play in this football game that swung the game in the direction of the UNLV Rebels.
1st and 10 from their own 16. Trips left there and shotgun handoff up the middle for a gain of about 4 from Thomas.
And I love the mentality by Corey Dennis to come out and start with something positive. When you're able to establish the run the same way Wyoming was able to establish the run so far to start the second half, you're able to now bring those linebackers and safeties down into the box, and that is going to open up that play action and pass game for this offense.
2nd down, under 3.5 minutes to go. Thomas with some blockers ahead on 2nd and 6, close to the 25-yard line.
And right there, Corey Dennis calling the delayed halfback inside zone. Right there, you have Anthony Calandria looking like he's going to run some form of RPO going through his progressions. Nope, I'm going to hand it off at the last second to Jet Thomas and allow my playmaker to make the first down, and that is exactly what we want.
Thomas with 74 yards on the ground so far in this game. He is 1 touchdown away from tying the UNLV career rushing touchdowns at 25. He currently sits tied at 6. Incomplete pass there across the middle intended for Jaden Bradley. That's going to make it 2nd down here.
Right there, it would look like to be a great ball by Anthony Calandria, and it was a great pass. It was put him right there on the numbers. His receiver was able to get hands on it, but the defensive back, number 20, Miller, was able to break up that pass and do exactly what he needed to do. As a defensive back, sometimes you just need to put your hand in there and allow that ball to get dislodged. He does that, setting up a 2nd and 10 for this Wyoming defense.
2:34 remains in the 3rd quarter. The Rebels lead 24-10 here on 2nd down. Ball at their own 23-yard line. Calandria with a 5 on the play clock. Under center, play action. Fires almost in the hands of Nick Elksness, but unable to bring it down. That's going to make it 3rd down.
Right there, you had the defensive end making Anthony Calandria have to sidearm that football, and that's going to change the angle and trajectory that Elksness is going to have to look at when he's trying to catch the ball on that tight end delay. Right there, you have him coming around from the backside, going into that flat area. And unfortunately, could have been a highlight one-handed Odell Beckham type catch. Unfortunately, sets up a 3rd and 10 now for the Rebels. Let's see what Corey Dennis is going to be able to cook up here on a big 3rd down.
Shotgun formation. Bradley motion from right to left. Widespread offense. Steps up. Calandria going to use his legs. Picks up the 1st down and more at the 40-yard line. He slides. 1st down, Rebels.
And right there, we have Anthony Calandria sliding right through the snow. And again, this is one of the first times that we've seen him today call his own number, and that's something that's been very successful for him in this young football season. He's been able to, when the pocket collapses and he has to escape, if nobody's open, sometimes you need to be Superman, put the S on your chest, and go get a 1st down. Anthony Calandria did exactly that, and UNLV picked up a big 1st down, and that's a backbreaker for this Wyoming defense that needed to get off the field right there and get their offensive football back.
A 16-yard carry by Calandria sets up a 1st down, and he goes deep and just overthrows his receiver, Jaden Bradley. An opportunity there, unable to capitalize, and it'll be 2nd down at their own 39.
And one of the first times today we've seen Jaden Bradley and Anthony Calandria are kind of not on the same page. We've seen UNLV on that last play, Anthony Calandria was able to get outside the pocket. Right there, what do? They go and they run another play-action pass. They're trying to keep this defense on their heels and try to switch things up. Unfortunately, they weren't able to connect on the deep shot right there.
1:42 remains in the 3rd quarter. The Rebels lead 24-10, 2nd down. Handoff Thomas. Trying to make something out of nothing, and he's brought down for a loss. Huge play there by Jorgen.
It's a great job right there by Jorgen, being able to come down and make a great shoestring tackle on Jet Thomas. You very rarely see him being able to get tackled like that. He always usually makes the first man miss. Right there, they were able to bottle him up and keep him within that pocket, keep him within the backfield, setting up a 3rd and 11. They need to get off the field and give Caden Anderson the football back and allow him to potentially score more points for this offense.
Great defensive adjustment here in the second half for the Cowboys. Less than a minute to go. Calandria trips left in shotgun formation. Looking left. Has to use his legs again. Escapes the sack. Gets outside with the angle. Trying to pick up the first down, and he'll be short. But what an effort there by Calandria using his legs.
An incredible display of athleticism right there by Anthony Calandria. Not only is he able to get and evade the rush that is coming after him, but if an arm tackle is coming, he simply says, get off me. I got to get this first down, and I got to at least try my best to try to get as many yards as I can for my team. He has shown, again, why universities put so much emphasis on the weight room. If he's a $160, $170 right there trying to make that play, he's probably sacked, and it's not a potential 4th and 2 right here for the Rebels. But because he's able to lift, has enough strength to get out the pocket and get rid of that tackle, he makes a big play right there for the Rebels.
It's now 4th and 2. The play clock goes to 0-0 with 4 seconds left on the game clock, and the Rebels burn their first timeout of the second half. They're looking to go for it here and keep the chains moving and apply the pressure. We're going to step aside real quick. Stick with us here on the other side. More Rebel football here on Rebel Sports Net. Thank you so much for sticking with us here. Wyatt Touchet and Johnnie Graves inside the broadcast booth. Johnnie, 4th and 2, big play here. What do you think Corey Dennis is looking to cook up here with 4 seconds remaining in the third quarter?
Give it to your stars. You either have 2 options. Right now, you either have to get the ball to Jet Thomas and allow him to try to get into the second level, pick up 2 hard yards. We've seen him do it time and time before. Or you have Anthony Calandria, you get him moving out in motion, put him out in space. It looks like right now, from the formation I'm seeing, they're going to give it to Jet Thomas.
Under center, Calandria, play action's going to try to use his legs. Tripped up, diving effort, and he picks up the first down near midfield. What a great play by the star quarterback.
And what do? They use Anthony Calandria's legs, allow him to go out in the bootleg, and they give him options. If right there you have his flat defender, the tight end's trying to get open, what does he do? Again, I'm going to put the S on my chest. I'm going to get the first down myself, use my athleticism, and dive for the first down. Big play right there by Anthony Calandria, once again showing why he is the leader and quarterback of this football team.
Superman in the building. Anthony Calandria, diving effort, takes us to the end of the third quarter. The Rebels lead 24-10 here at Laramie, Wyoming. Welcome back inside the broadcast booth. Wyatt, Touchet, and Johnnie Graves here on the call. You're listening to UNLV football here on Rebel Sports Network. The Rebels lead 24-10 to go into the fourth quarter, and looking ahead at the upcoming schedule. Next week is homecoming here in Las Vegas. They will face the Air Force Falcons on Saturday at 12:30. After that, they go on the road to Boise State, and then New Mexico at home again, and then back on the road at Colorado State. A lot of exciting matchups, Johnny, but most importantly, a lot of the alumni, a lot of the old faces coming back home for homecoming against Air Force. It's going to be a good one here.
And you're exactly right, Wyatt. And we haven't been able to see our UNLV Rebels back at home at Allegiant Stadium with those fans. You know those fans are going to be buzzing, especially if UNLV is going to be able to pull out this game against Wyoming and potentially head into Allegiant Stadium 5-0 against Air Force for homecoming. And it's going to be their homecoming, having been on the road for the last 2 weeks. And on top of that, having to be waiting for all that football through these bye weeks. This UNLV football team heading into conference play after this first game against Wyoming and for the rest of the year, they're going to need to take this momentum because they're going to split. They're going to be at home and on the road, at home and on the road. But they're going to continue to have to be successful and do what they've been doing, which is making plays and also making turnovers on the defensive end. If they continue to do that, it's going to be very bright for them in conference play.
And it starts here on this drive after a heroic effort to pick up the first down. Anthony Calandria leading the way for the Rebels. Quick screen here. Bradley gets it. Tackled. No. Broken tackle here, but a number of Cowboys bring him down, and he fights to get back to the line of scrimmage. This drive here could cement and put this game away and put them up 3 scores, but a good defensive stop there by Wyoming on first down.
That was a great play again by number 12, Hearns, being able to read his keys at the defensive back position, understand that UNLV, if you're going to try to throw that outside quick screen, I cannot allow one wide receiver to block me. What does he do? He's able to shed the tackle, get hands on Jaden Bradley, and be able to rally to make a strong tackle on him, setting up now 2nd and 11, 2nd and 12 for the Rebels.
Desmond Hearns, the Clearwater native, the junior. And now it's Calandria using his legs outside. A good chunk game now, making this third and manageable inside Wyoming territory.
And you love to see Corey Dennis going back to, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. Anthony Calandria's legs are a weapon in this offense. He can definitely sling it with his arms. He can definitely do that. But when you have a quarterback that you can use as an extension of the run game, that is exactly what you want for this football team. Now you have options on 3rd and 6. We've already seen them go for it and be able to pick it up on this down so far on this drive. Let's see if UNLV is going to be able to have the same type of mentality heading into this down.
2 seconds on the play clock. Has to get the snap off, and they do. Handoff up the middle to Glover, but he's going to be short for a gain of 2.
And now it's going to be decisions, big decisions right here for Dan Mullen and this offense and what they want to do, considering their field position and knowing Wyoming is definitely going to be aggressive when it comes to trying to get the football back.
Real quickly here, partner, what's your expectation on this play call?
Right here, if I'm Dan Mullen, I have to understand that, hey, I have a lot of confidence in my defense. It looks like they have the punt unit out right now. We don't need to give Wyoming more than they already have. They already got the big stop right there on the down. Let's kick this ball away and continue to show the love and support for this UNLV defense.
Cam Brown punting the ball from their own 45. The Gunners looking to stop it, but that's going to go in the back of the end zone for a touchback. On the other side, the Cowboy offense will step onto the field. The Rebels lead 24-10 here on Rebel Sports Net. Welcome back to UNLV football. You're listening here on Rebel Sports Network. Wyatt, Touchet, and Johnnie Graves on the call. The Cowboys start their offensive drive at their own 20, 10:38 remaining. And first play there, handoff to Scott, blasted there by Jaheim Joseph at the line of scrimmage.
It was actually Mumu bin Wahad being able to come down from that nickelback position and make a big tackle right there. But it all started with Egbase making a one-arm tackle on Sam Scott right there and setting up this UNLV defense for 2nd and 10.
The Rebels on 2nd and 10 here. This defensive line looking to apply the pressure. Anderson keeps it, play action, low throw, incomplete pass intended for Swoboda, and unable to come down with it. It is 3rd down.
And great job by this UNLV defense being able to put pressure on the quarterback. Every single time today they've been able to put pressure on Caden. He's been able to get the ball out quick, and it has been bad things for this Wyoming offense. Now setting up a long 3rd and 10, and this is going to be a very big down for the UNLV Rebels. Let's see what they can dial up here, if they're going to do pressure or if they're going to fall back and put their guys into coverage.
3rd and 10 for the Cowboys, motioning here for trips left. 5 on the play clock, gets it off. Anderson looks right, fires, incomplete in the grass.
What a big stop right there by this UNLV defense. No penalties, no silly turnovers, no anything. They're able to get off the football field and give this offense the football back with 12 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. If you're Wyoming, you would have wanted a Josh Allen Herculean type of play from Anderson on that play. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to do that. Josh Allen is years away from being graduated from this team, and Wyoming will have to settle for a punt here to give the Rebels the fall back.
And almost blocked again. Bar Edmiston able to get this off. Irvin now trying to return it and driven to the ground near the 30-yard line. What a hit and tackle there by Merritt. Now this offense comes onto the field looking to be ranked in this season. We've had a lot of movement here in the FBS. A lot of big games happening around the nation. Iowa State falls to Cincinnati. They were originally 14th, lost 38-30. Florida with a huge upset over the Longhorns, 29-21. And the talk of the town today, the nail biter at the last second. UCLA gets their first win of the season, 42-37, and the Rebels are looking to crack the top 25 as they've been in some recent AP polls. And we'll see here, if they win this game, they're 5-0. They have a good chance to make an argument to crack the top 25.
100% Wyatt. If you look at what this football team has done going into 5 games, if they're able to pull this game out against Wyoming, I understand it's UNLV. They're outside of the Power 5. They're going against lower competition. Yes. But they also beat a UCLA team that just went and beat Penn State at Penn State. So you have to factor that in. And if Penn State is going to be the number 7th ranked team in the country, on top of Texas losing to Florida, a team that was 1-3 heading into this game, and now you have all these other elements that are going into the college football playoff and going into conference play. UNLV, if they win this game, are not only going to be at the top of the Mountain West sitting at 5-0 and 1-0 in conference play, but they have to. When it comes to the coaches poll and the AP poll, they have to be looked at as a team that has to be at least in the top 25, if not the top 20, compared to the records and the other teams that have played and have lost against top-tier competition so far this season.
3 teams in the top 15 took a major upset loss today, and it begs the question to see at what point do you have to respect this UNLV team and what they're putting out and the brand of ball that they're playing.
And if UNLV, their future and what they want to get out of this season, they have and can control their own destiny. If this team is able to go out and go on the road against Boise State, pull out that game potentially, and run the table in the Mountain West, they are setting up this first year of Dan Mullen and being on this football team to be extremely successful. And with that being said, if they are able to go that far and potentially go to the Mountain West Championship, they are rightly right there to be able to be considered for a team for a college football playoff bid. And we've seen it in recent years. players. We've seen it last year with Arizona State and Cam Scatterbo and what they were been able to do and how they followed that up this year with Sam Levitt and those guys up over there in Tempe, Arizona. I would love to see these UNLV Rebels have the same type of storyline, but they have to finish what's on their plate right now, and that is the Wyoming Cowboys.
Now the Scarlet and Gray will start this offensive drive with 11:51 remaining in this ball game at their own 31. Calandria quickly throws it outside. Thomas receives it, goes up the field, and picks up a almost first down catch and run there. Good play there by Jet.
It looks like every time Jet Thomas gets the ball, he never wants to go down on his own accord. He never wants to allow the defense to know that they won the rep. Right there, we have an amazing play call by Corey Dennis, having everybody motion over to the other side of the field, but having Jet Thomas go into the opposite flat, putting him out in space for a running back screen and allowing him to pick up 9 yards on the game.
A 9-yard catch and run. Thomas up the middle for a gain of 3, moving the chains here. Brought down at the 43-yard line. The Rebels lead 24-10. Just under 11 minutes to go here in the game.
In a drive like this, whether you score or you don't, you need to turn and churn that clock. You have to understand that you have a 2-score lead in this ball game, and Wyoming is going to do whatever they have to do to get the football back. But what can you do to limit that and negate the weather factor and all the things that UNLV has had to go through this game? Give the ball to your star running back.
1st and 10, quick screen. Irvin on the outside, catches it, stiff arms a man, goes upfield and brought out of bounds near the near sideline for a gain of 5.
D'Angelo Irvin Jr. making something out of nothing. Right there, he should have been stopped in the backfield by the defensive back. But defensive backs have always been known for the dudes that don't like to tackle. Right there, they weren't able to make a secure tackle, and D'Angelo Irvin was able to show how shifty he is when you put him in that slot position, and he was able to make 3 yards out of a play that should have been broken up in a negative for the Rebels.
The Rebels at their own 46-yard line. Only a gain of 3 there instead of 5. Stepped out early. Thomas on the outside, trucks a man to pick up the first down. Brought down at the Wyoming 45. Such a powerful back Jet is.
And right there, Jet Thomas showing the duality of his game. Not only is he a speed back, but he is looking for punishment. When he goes down and he sees somebody is going to meet him in his hole, he is going with bad intentions, almost like the Marcel McDuffie of the offense. He is coming ready to hit, and he is not going to get hit. He wants to meet the safety right at the top, and what does he do? He lowers his shoulder and makes sure that Johnson feels his presence. He did a great job on that run.
Thomas translating that speed into power. 5 seconds on the play clock. Calandria gets it off, throws it, connects near sideline. Bradley breaks the tackle inside the 20. Huge play there for Jaden Bradley.
Jaden Bradley on the outside turning a simple 5-yard stop route into an explosive play, picking up more, and that speaks to his yak ability. When this guy's able to get out in space, again, another guy like Jet Thomas, it's not going to take 1 or 2 guys to get him down. It may be 3 or 4 because he's that explosive once the ball is in his hands.
27-yard reception there by Bradley. It's now 1st and 10 for the Rebels. Inside Wyoming territory at the 18. Thomas, keeper, just on the outside, is brought down near the 16.
Great job by Anthony Calandria. I understand the demon in the back of his head might have been telling him right there, pull the ball, pull it. I want to take this on the read option. But what does he do? You continue to give the ball to your running back and allow him to make plays with the football. Sometimes you can take that little break, take that little rest because you know the offense is going to need you to make a big play when it matters most. Give it to your running back and allow him to make the play.
2nd and 9 at the Cowboys 17. Glover in the backfield motions. Calandria keeps it, makes a man miss, using his legs inside the 10 and brought down near the 4. What a great run there by Calandria.
And exactly as I said, when you're patient, good things come to those who wait. Right there, what do? They go right back to Anthony Calandria and use him with the QB power. You have those guards pulling, getting to the second level, and allowing Anthony Calandria to show his running vision, and he's able to be another extension of that running game. Now you're setting up this UNLV Rebel offense in the red zone with 7 minutes and 40 seconds left to go in this football game. They are exactly where they want to be to walk out of Laramie with a W heading back to Vegas.
First and goal from the Wyoming 4. Under center, Calandria. Handoff, Glover. Tackle behind the line. Great stop there by this defensive line. And it's big, number 94, Ben Florentine, the senior from Anaheim, California.
It's a great job by Florentine having the first initial push to get through the offensive linemen, get through both the guard and the tackle, and make a play on Glover in the backfield. That's exactly the kind of stop on first down that they needed for this drive.
Second and goal now at the 6.5-yard line. The Rebels looking to break down this door. Calandria, keeper, outside, trying to find the angle. Stiff arms a man, loses the ball, but it fortunately goes out of bounds. It's going to be third and goal near the 7-yard line.
Anthony Calandria right there, another instance where they had the quarterback and running back read option, and he didn't like what he seen, so he pulled it to the outside, tried to make something happen. The only bad thing about that play is I would like to see him be more careful with the football, especially in the red zone. If you don't get 7 here, what can you get? You can get 3, and if you settle for 3, time and possession. Be up 17, it's perfect for the Rebels.
That'd still be a 3-score game, so you want to be mindful and being cautious in this play call here. Third and goal, 5 seconds on the play clock. Shotgun formation, trips left. Calandria, pressure, throws, delivers. He's in. Touchdown Rebels. Jet Thomas with the reception from 8 yards out.
Jet Thomas being able to be the security blanket for Anthony Calandria, and Anthony Calandria is showing when he needs to use his legs, he has it in his back pocket. He's able to extend the play, get outside the pocket, and find his running back. And on the touchdown totals, what does that take Jet Thomas to when it comes to touchdown totals as a UNLV Rebel? Is that his 25th touchdown?
That has to be rushing touchdown. This was a passing, receiving touchdown.
See? But that also speaks to his ability out the backfield to not only run the football, but catch the football. You need to be able to do both if you're a running back, and especially a running back that wants to get to the next level. You love to see Jet Thomas be sure-handed on a down where UNLV needed to score, and it was goal to go. He does just that, and it makes it a 20, hopefully 21-point game for the Rebels.
Jet Thomas showing why he's the star of the show, with the potential walk-off to take first place in the Mountain West. The Rebels lead 31-10 in Laramie, Wyoming. You're listening to UNLV football here on Rebel Sports Network. 10 plays, 91 yards. The Rebels put up 7 to potentially put away this game and become first place in the Mountain West, and also put away the Wyoming homecoming game and play spoiler.
And if you're a Wyoming fan right now in Cowboy country, you have to absolutely be heartbroken. Because on that last possession, UNLV was able to pull out the LeBron James silencer. Anthony Colandrea led a great drive right there. And the biggest part about that drive was not allowing the ball to be in harm's way, not allowing any turnovers, and also giving the ball to your star back when you need him most, and that's exactly what they did with Jet Thomas. So far in this football game, he has 14 rushes for 86 yards, but the biggest part right there is being able to get the catch, being able to be a receiving threat for Anthony Colandrea, and getting a big touchdown to go up 3 scores in Wyoming.
Now the Cowboys will get the ball with 6:20 remaining. The Rebels lead 31-10, and this offense out here is now looking at just trying to find any sense of optimism to finish this game off.
And if you're the UNLV defense, you have to know they're going to push the ball down the field. So you have to be ready for shot plays. Other than that, continue to do what you've been doing in your game plan.
Bunch formation. Anderson connects on the outside, picking up almost the first down. We'll see where they mark that. But a good play there to Fra.
Right there, Fraud being a friendly receiving threat right there for his quarterback. And Caden Anderson just putting the ball exactly where it needs to be. Not in harm's way, but right on his receiver's chest and his numbers.
2nd and 2 for the Cowboys. Pistol formation. Play action. Anderson rolls out left, fires far side, connects, picks up the first down, pushed out of bounds near the 44-yard line. Good catch there, moving the sticks.
And the biggest part about that play right there is not only were they able to get a first down, but when you're able to play outside of the numbers like that, it's very hard for the defensive back to play the ball. Caden Anderson put the ball exactly where it needs to be, but the bad part is the clock is still churning for this Wyoming football team.
1st and 10 at the 43-yard line. Tackle behind the line. Chief Borders stops Harris in his tracks.
Chief Borders doing a great job today. He's been all over the football field, and we've been able to see him now in the backfield getting a big stop right there on the running back, setting up now, 2nd and 13, 2nd and 14. That's not what you want if you're Wyoming, to play behind the sticks when you need to move the ball down the field.
2nd and 12 at their own 41. 5 minutes to go in this game. Pressure. Anderson forced to roll out, use his legs, and steps out of bounds near the 47-yard line. That will bring us to 3rd down here.
Great ball fake right there by Anderson, being able to have the defense, oh, look, I'm going to potentially pass it away. Nope, never mind. I'm actually just going to run and take what the defense gives me, try to pick up as many yards as I can, and keep the ball out of harm's way.
Anderson using his legs there, making it 3rd and 7.
Let's see what they can dial up. Jay Johnson has to have some type of trick Uno card play in his back pocket. Let's see what they can pull off right here on 3rd and 7.
5 on the play clock. Anderson waiting for this receiver to get set. Looking, surveys across the middle, connects, and it's 1st down. Svoboda with the catch and inside Rebel territory.
And that's a great job by Caden Anderson going through all of his progressions and finding Svoboda, being able to pick up that big 1st down for the team. And that's what happens when you go through all your progressions. If guys are not open, sometimes you got to go back to your quick read. Right there was his tight end right across the middle of the field.
Shotgun formation, 1st and 10 at the Rebel 46. Anderson far sideline. No, incomplete pass. Fulton in coverage there.
Great job by Trey Fulton right there. Almost an interception from Trey Fulton. But again, the name of the game for this UNLV defense is bend but not break. If they happen to get 3 here, you can settle for that. There's 3 minutes and 50 seconds left. The only thing you don't want as a defensive back is allowing the receiver to get behind you for a touchdown.
Time is your biggest friend if you're the Rebels. Limiting penalties and not allowing the Cowboys to score fast is the name of the game. Quick screen to Harris. Cuts back inside, but unable to as he's tackled there by Powdrell, making it 3rd down.
And that was one of the only sequences we've seen today from this UNLV defense where they have responded accurately and correctly to a running back screen. Right there, you had Powdrell make a great shoestring tackle, setting up a 3rd and 6, and that's exactly what this UNLV defense needed.
Under 3.5 minutes to go. The Rebels lead 31-10 at War Memorial Stadium. And Anderson delivers a ball outside the numbers for a first down, but there's a flag on the play. Connects there with Jalen Bean.
It's a great job by Anderson understanding that if UNLV is going to play soft man coverage, they're going to play off about 4 to 5 yards off and not let anything behind them. I'm going to take the simple curl route, the simple comeback route, but unfortunately there's a flag on the play. Let's see what the call is.
Going down the field to Kenneth Ray for the official ruling. And it'll be a holding call on the Rebel defense. You want to mitigate all the penalties you can here down the stretch to get off the field, get home, and stay healthy.
100% Wyatt. And that's just playing clean football and understanding the down and distance. Sometimes you don't want to allow guys to get behind you and potentially have a touchdown. Unfortunately for Trey Fulton, they did happen to catch him on that play, but you didn't allow any touchdowns. That's a penalty you can live with. Let's try to see if they can make up for it on this 4 next downs.
1st and 10 at the Rebel 32. Pressure in his face, rolling. Has to evade, throws it downfield, and it's out of bounds. Fortunately, not going to take the sack and throws it away.
Oh, my gosh. Caden Anderson was absolutely running for his life on that play. He had to get around about 15 yards deep just to be able to get rid of the ball. And like we've seen all day, we've seen this UNLV defensive line with 4 defenders get after the quarterback relentlessly. And every single time it's been good things for the defense and bad things for this Wyoming offense.
2nd and 10 at the Rebel 32. Trips left in shotgun formation. Anderson surveys the field, fires across the middle, connects, looking up the field, picks up the first down inside the red zone. Caught there by the Atlanta, Georgia native, Michael Fitzgerald.
Right there, Michael Fitzgerald playing a little bit of backyard football. We see Caden Anderson being able to scroll outside of the pocket. And if you're a 6'6", 210 target, that is a big guy to miss. Right there, you need to put the ball anywhere in his vicinity, and he should be able to come down with it. He does for a first down.
Brought down at the 17, 1st and 10. Anderson towards the far sideline, able to connect there with Bean again this drive for a gain of 7.
Right there, another gain. But again, the clock continues to cook for this Wyoming offense. And that's not what you want if you're a team trying to come back from a 3-touchdown deficit.
12 different receivers have caught the ball tonight for the Cowboys. And another one there inside the 10, picking up the first down for Wyoming. That's number 87, Isaac Schoenfeld. One of those 12 here tonight.
All right there, just another example of Caden Anderson understanding that if I have a quick read to the outside, I don't need to force the ball over the middle. I simply need to just hit my quick read and take that first down.
We're going to step aside here. 2 minutes to go in this ball game. The Rebels lead 31-10. You're listening to UNLV football on Rebel Sports Network. 2 minutes to go at War Memorial Stadium. The Rebels lead 31-10. Three turnovers, 2 block punts returned for a touchdown has been the name of the game for the Rebels here. The Cowboys looking to put some points up on the board on their final drive. Play action, Anderson on 1st and goal, connects, and he's in. Touchdown, Cowboys. Some garbage time points here for Justin Erb, the senior from Wakefield, Nebraska, punches it in for 6.
And you said it perfectly, Wyatt. Right there, that's a garbage time touchdown, garbage time play. The Cowboys have a 2-touchdown deficit to go behind, and if they did want to happen to get in this game at all, they will have to do an onside kick and get the football back. But sometimes if you're the UNLV defense, that is a play that you're going to just have to live with and understand. You did your job to set yourself up in this football game. You're up by 2 scores. You did exactly what you need to do. Sometimes that's just the name of the game. Great play, though, by the offense of Wyoming and Caden Anderson trying to capitalize and have something positive heading the next week.
The Rebels defense has looked so good throughout this entire game, and just allowing 7 points there is not a big deal. It's the end of the game. The Rebels lead 31-17, just under 2 minutes to go here on Rebel Sports Network. Pure domination on the first road game against a Mountain West opponent. The Rebels lead 31-17 with just under 2 minutes to go here, Johnny, and they are about to take the field here after this kickoff.
And simply all the Rebels need to do is continue to do what they did on the last drive, which is give the ball to your running backs and use Anthony Calandria's legs as a weapon when you have to. The biggest part about finishing this game, though, is to finish and be healthy. Right now, the Wyoming Cowboys are going to onside kick the ball. You need to be able to recover this kick, play smart football, and simply drain the clock out, let them waste their timeouts, and head back to sunny, not so freezing cold Las Vegas with a win and be 5-0 on the season.
To attempt this onsider. And the Cowboys recover it. An unfortunate display there from the hands team from the Rebels. A successful kick there by the Cowboys, and the offense will take over.
And that is a stunner right there. You rarely see onside kick plays really be able to come to fruition, but they get a perfect bounce, a homecoming bounce, if you will, for this Wyoming Cowboy team. And right there, it's just a simple bit of execution. They came out in their formation, spread everybody out wide. You had the ball thinking that it might have been going to the other side. Nope, the kicker is able to get a perfect doink bounce, and they get the ball back. But if you're UNLV, you don't have to fret. There's still not a lot of time in this football game. Yes, they they have three timeouts, but they are still down two scores. This UNLV defense has played great. You cannot let up a quick touchdown here. You have to play great defense and allow the clock to keep going.
Keelan Anderson was the kicker to successfully attempt that onside kick. Now 1st and 10 for the Cowboys, intended there for Svoboda. Anderson misses the mark, and it's 2nd down.
And that's another example of great coverage right there on the defensive end. And you have your linebackers being able to play in coverage like that. That makes so much of a difference for this football team. When all 3 levels of the defense are able to be locked in on their keys and what they need to do, that's how you get stops, and that's how you win football games.
Caden Anderson, 25 of 43 with over 250 passing yards. Pressure, rolls out left, throws it away, and it'll be 3rd and long for the Cowboys.
It's a great job again by this UNLV defense, putting pressure on Caden Anderson and making sure that he is not comfortable in this pocket. Now we don't need silly mistakes. We don't need flags. We don't need players getting and playing outside of themselves. Simply play the down, play smart, play hard. Do not get any penalties to bail out this team, and you have a free win in your first win in Mountain West Conference play.
A little bit of chatter between Caden Anderson and Landon Thomas. It's 3rd and long here. Wyoming has a little bit of life. Very small percentage to win this game, but if any time is to act, the time is now. Anderson fires across the middle. Incomplete pass. Great breakup there by Amaris Brown.
Great pick. And we haven't said his name very often today, but he is still the star on defense. And actually, it was Mumu bin Wahad that was in coverage right there, playing the spot that Amaris Brown will be playing in, which is that nickelback position. And we haven't heard Amaris Brown's name a lot today. I don't know if there was an injury. I don't know what happened or what factored him not being in, but it's a big 4th and 10 for the Rebels right here.
That 3rd down pass intended for Clay Nanke. 4th down. Pressure, throws across the middle. Over the head, turnover on downs.
Great coverage right there over the middle, trying to get it to that big body wide receiver in Michael Fitzgerald, the 6'6" target. You're trying to get it in a huge catch radius, and that's beautiful man-to-man coverage on the outside. Beautiful man-to-man coverage by Quandarius Keys. He had the interception earlier on in this football game, and right there, he makes a big play in coverage, does not get a pass interference call, simply plays in phase, and UNLV is going to be able to walk out of Laramie with a W on the night.
The offense will now take over and run this clock out. Wyoming does have 3 timeouts. It'll be interesting to see if head coach Jay Salville will take and use those. But awaiting this 1st down play inside Cowboy territory, the Rebels will come away here with their 5th win of the season.
And if you're the Rebels here, the name of the game is simply get a 1st down. If you get a 1st down and make sure that Wyoming doesn't get this ball back, you can simply run and kneel the ball out.
Handoff Glover, hurdles and steps out of bounds.
Right there, if you're Jalen Glover, I understand trying to not get hit, trying to avoid tackles, but sometimes you have to understand the name of the game. You have to be able to slide down or try to get something there. Right there, you stop the clock, and you're giving them an opportunity to not waste one of their timeouts. Regardless, it is still 2nd and 5.
A 5-yard carry, but a bonehead decision there by Glover, being chewed out by Dan Mullen, asking him, why didn't you step out? Everyone listening, everyone watching this game at War Memorial Stadium is wondering the same thing. Hand it off there outside. Thomas stiff arms a man and slides down smartly to run the clock out, and that'll make it a 3rd and manageable on a 3-yard carry.
And right there, they do what they were supposed to do on that first drive. They give the ball to Jet Thomas right there. What does he do? He has the opportunity to get a 1st down, but no. What does he do? He takes the contact and is able to not take any extra contact, not take any extra unwarranted hits, gets down, sets up a small 3rd and 2 for the Rebels.
And Wyoming will take a quick timeout here to stop the clock. We're going to step aside real quick. Stick with us here on the other side. The Rebels lead 31-17 here on Rebel Sports Network. Thanks for sticking with us here on Rebel Sportsnet. A huge 3rd down and 1 for the Rebels here. I formation, handoff. Thomas up the middle. He picks it up, and it will move the chains. And with that, the Rebels will chew the clock out and officially get their 5th win of the season.
And if you are Dan Mullen, you have to be absolutely ecstatic about the way your team has responded these first 5 weeks. You've seen the ups and the downs for this UNLV football team, but never in a million years did they say that they were going to be down and out of any one of these football games. They clawed back when they needed to claw back against both Idaho State and the University of Miami of Ohio, and they've done a great job of spoiling the homecoming of Wyoming and getting their first Mountain West Conference play win to jump them to the top of the Mountain West Conference.
What impressed you most about this win today, Johnny?
I was so impressed with the special teams unit. They were the MVP. They have to be my players of the game today. Both Jaden Bradley and then also Caden McGee making timely plays when they needed it most. Both of them were extremely instrumental in UNLV's win. And the fact that if you look at Anthony Calandria's stats, for him to go 11 for 20, 102 yards, and 1 touchdown through the air, if you look at it on paper, that's not an eye-glaring game. But for UNLV to still have a 14-point lead and walk out of Laramie 5-0, it speaks to not only the resiliency of this team, but this defense as well.
And victory formation for the Scarlet and Gray. They start 5-0 for the first time since 1974 and sit atop alone in the Mountain West Conference. Wyatt, Touchet, Johnnie Graves, a special thank you to Marcus Bray operating the board here. It would not have had happened without him and everyone here at Rebel Sports Network. Thank you so much for tuning in. The Rebels win 31-17 over the Wyoming Cowboys. They will come back home to Vegas for their homecoming game against Air Force, and it's going to be a good one. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a good one. See you later, folks.